Good day, everybody. This is the Ecclesiarch here, back with some more Horus Heresy Legions competition material. And today we're going to be discussing the winners of the fourth card creation tournament, the Elite Forces. And I'm super excited to get into this one because there's been some crazy submissions. But first of all, I'm here as always together with Shad. Shad, what's up?
Hey guys, back again. Sorry for the slight change of upload date. Looks like this might be permanent though moving forward. It's a happy accident that seems to have worked out quite well for our schedules, hasn't it?
Absolutely. I'm totally up for it. I prefer it to be Tuesday rather than Saturday.
But my bad. I was the one who accidentally put it at Tuesday in the first place, so you know.
Oh, good man.
Yeah,
I think we're good.
Glad to be back. Yeah, I even came up with an extra card while I was thinking about it this over the weeks. Oh, hang on, the phone's gone off. God damn it. Ruined the recording. Ignore that. All right, but yes, as I was saying, yeah. So Elite Forces, 10 energy. That's a hefty slot, and it's actually been very interesting seeing how people have tried to reach that slot with standard Astartes, because it's just that's the province of super heavy vehicles usually and things like that, isn't it? Dreadnoughts.
Yeah, honestly speaking, I think it's really, really difficult to go there with the Astartes because most of the stuff that we have, like on the high end of the curve, it's usually tanks and dreadnoughts and stuff like that. But I have to say that people came up with some amazing stuff for sure.
Yeah, there's a ton of great entries.
Now, as always, before we get to the whole discussion, we first want to present our own cards, and we're going to start from Shad's cards, and he actually has two to present this time. So, Shad, why don't you begin?
Well, first of all, there's Unholy Vessel, the one that was in the announcement video, which is a Word Bearers card, and I have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder when it comes to Word Bearers because of their high variance, random nature of their mechanics. So whenever I see an opportunity to sort of undo a lot of that randomness, I try and take it. And in this case, I've done that by simply saying, you don't get random demon host effects, you get all of them. So it is a 10 energy 4/4 that has Rally, gain all demon host effects, then choose a greater demon. Worth noting, it doesn't say you put it in your hand, it doesn't say you put it into play or anything, you just choose the demon. It's only when you trigger the backlash, which is put a copy of the chosen card into play, that actually has an effect. But yes, so as soon as it enters play, it gets all the things that you get with demon hosts. That's, I believe, Cleave 2, Survivor 3, Flank, obviously. So it's... Yep, Ward, that's a big one as well. And of course, it gets the Demonic Sinew, I think it is, the +2/+2. That's what you get when you have all of the demon hosts. So it's actually a 6/6. So I did factor that in when I was balancing it, because it does look very understated for a 10 cost.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of sort of anti-synergy I tried to put in here, basically, to balance it out a little bit, because, well, it does have Terror, but it's not especially high attack. It has an amazing backlash, but it also has Survivor, so you can't instantly trigger it. The Terror also kind of works against that, etc., etc. It's an okay design. I just really like the art, really. I found the art and I was like, yeah, making that.
Yeah, actually, I really like this one. Because I think if you had made Sacrifice instead of Backlash, it would be too OP and it would be annoying. And I really like all of the counter synergies as well. It's a really interesting card.
Oh, thanks, man. What about balance, though? Because, again, you need to be careful with these sort of, like, 10 energy, they flank onto the field and remove something, because, like, there's loads of those in the game. They're all really strong. There's quite a lot in this entry I've made, too.
I mean, honestly speaking, this does not grant... any protection to your warlord, let's say like that. So it's not a win game card, for example. It can take out something big. It's similar to like Raptor Guard, which also heal your warlord. But the thing with this is, as you said, it doesn't have like especially high attack, meaning that there's a chance that it's not going to use the terror. And on top of that, like, yeah, it summons a greater demon, and that's scary, but greater demons can often be used against you as well if the enemy has stun or can't attack or something. So I think there's a lot of things working against the card as well, which is pretty cool. And plus, there's like always jam a random troop and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a very expensive 10 energy 4/4 if you get jammed.
Absolutely.
All right. Do you want to do yours next so we can alternate them?
I think you could do the second one and then we can move on.
In that case, I have made Don Raffion, the Sanguinary Herald. This one came to me while I was just browsing Imaginary Warhammer. It's a pretty cool subreddit. Not that I usually go on Reddit much, I have standards, but no, he's a Blood Angel 10 energy 9/9. He's maybe a little overstated on second thought, but And his abilities are First Strike, Flank, and Unstoppable. And he also has a 0 energy ability to grant either First Strike, Flank, or Unstoppable to all your other units, and that includes your Warlord. So there's a lot of versatility in there. However, I do feel he's just too aggressively and efficiently statted to make that versatility ever really worth using, because it's just never worth it to give up the 9/9 First Strike attack, typically speaking. But, actually, I've had a better idea for what I should do with him anyway. He should have been Rally, Choose, First Strike, Flank, or Unstoppable, and he gains that, and then everything else you have gains the other two. That would have been a better design. Oh well.
I don't know, like, the only problem I might have with this card is that it's too vanilla, in the sense that, yeah, it's a big guy with Flank and First Strike, okay, he comes down and just destroys you. But at the same time, I do like, however, to choose, because once again, you have a choice. Either you use this guy as a removal tool, or let's say your enemy doesn't have anything on the board, you just drop a big body, and then you grant a buff to your Warlord, which is always cool. So yeah, why not?
Yeah, Sanguinius with First Strike's pretty horrendous.
Yeah, that's pretty disgusting, honestly. So that can work. Okay, so then let's move on to my card, and I have the Sirius Akurduana, the first Palatine, for Emperor's Children. It's very rare for me to actually make an Emperor's Children card, because I don't particularly like the Legion, but there are some characters that I absolutely love from Emperor's Children. And, well, I can't say that I love Akurduana, because there's not that much lore on the guy, but I always found the idea of him pretty cool, like this super powerful duelist. So basically it's a 10 energy 8/10 with the First Strike, but the whole thing is that when an enemy plays a troop from her hand, you automatically attack it. And you also have a perfection to attack a random enemy troop. So when you drop this guy at 10 energy, he instantly attacks, right? A random troop, but he still does. So this is like a card that once it's on the board, every single troop that is played, this thing is going to attack it. So unless it's a troop that survives 8 damage, this thing is going to be taking everything out for free. I would say pretty crazy in terms of power. However, the problem that I usually had when I was thinking of this guy is, if I remove the perfection, then he's a little bit too slow, because it's still a 10 energy card, right? And does nothing. So at that point of the game, it might be a little bit, but this way, it might be a little too oppressive. What do you say, Chad?
Oh, it's very oppressive, but it's a super cool design. It's just the balance is a little off. I actually disagree with you about the perfection thing. I think if you removed it, it would be still oppressive, but relatively fair, because yes, it doesn't give you any immediate value, which is a downside in a 10 energy card. It's a big gamble, but the payoff is so severe, so extreme, that it can shut down an enemy combo or an enemy strategy entirely, that I would probably say that's worth it. Honestly, I like the design you've got, though. I'd just say, like, nerf it down to like a 4/10, probably.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Plus, I think the flavor goes well, because he's supposed to be the Palatine, so he gets the First Strike.
Perfect.
And he's a duelist, so I think it goes well. Yeah.
Yeah. I like it a lot. Also, all of our cards have some kind of First Strike bullshit.
Yeah, obviously.
Terror.
I mean, First Strike is a cool mechanic. It's a cool mechanic, so what can you do?
It's the least annoying of all of the free hit mechanics, yeah.
Absolutely. So, Shad, would you like to go first?
Sure thing, why not? All right, well, in that case, our first entry is Wolfen.
And this is from our boy from Fecund Ones.
Oh, yeah, Chica. Yes, he was quick on the mark on this. I think he actually submitted it before the video even went up, because I was like, I'll just talk a little bit about what the thing is. It was like 5 minutes before you uploaded it or something stupid.
Absolutely.
Boom, right in there. Sorry, it's a 10 energy rare Space Wolf Astartes. It's a 6/8, which is rather understated for a typical 10 energy card, so there's got to be something pretty spicy about it. And in this case, it has Bloodthirst, always strong. Berserk, slight negative. Cleave 3, very nice. But the pack is the interesting part. It says, pack, attack the unit that triggered pack. So that's a big downside. That is hefty. However, it also says cost 1 less for every card with Berserk you play. So technically, I don't entirely know exactly what this intent was here, but it seems to me like that wording implies that it doesn't have to be in your hand to cost less. It's just a global effect that's for throughout the game. Which,
Absolutely.
I actually prefer those style of effects because they're less random, they're less draw dependent. Because everyone hates it when one of the new hard removals ends up in your hand, in your opening hand, and it gets discounted down to 0 energy, and then boom, massive tempo swing out of nowhere. Everyone loves losing to that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I
But
think
if it's a Wolfen, this guy, you've built around it, so you've paid the price fairly, no matter what time you play it. Yeah.
honestly speaking, I kind of like the design. First of all, because of the wording that he did. It's essentially telling you that it can get reduced by cost, reduced cost anywhere where it is, which is pretty cool. And on top of that, it kind of forces you to play a certain way, which is like through Berserk units. And this is a common card, mind you, which it means that you can have 2 of these bad boys. And the whole thing is that you could do some interesting stuff, like you get the Tukulka engine and things like that, but it also punishes you very hard because look at this. If you play 2 of these guys at the same, let's say you get lucky, you make them very cheap and you took them, yeah, you're done.
Oh.
You're done.
Yeah, I see where this is going. Yeah, that would anti-synergy, I believe that's called.
Yeah, and that's pretty good because it balances it out. So it's not something that, oh, I got lucky,
Well,
so now I get 2 of these guys on the board and you're dead.
Well, that's another part of the mechanic there, isn't it? It's you only discount this by playing Berserk troops, which are the one thing you do not want to have on the board when you play it, because holy crap, that's gonna backfire hard. I mean, you can play around it, which is fun, but it's the sequencing. The sequencing matters with this guy. It matters a lot. Yeah, I really like it. There's a few formatting issues. Like the right hand card name, it should have Wolfen Brothers Lost Beyond Salvation or something like that. Maybe a little shorter name so you don't run into it. But that's a minor quibble again. The art's great. I feel like the costs 1 less for every card with Berserk you play. Or it should be you have played this game, perhaps, to be more clear. Also should probably be on a separate line. It's a bit kind of like blended in with the pack ability there. But yeah, I really like this. I do like this card. Good solid first entry. Starting off strong.
Absolutely. I do like this card a lot. I'll say that for sure. Very well. Let's go for number 2 from Raziel. And this is the Death Shroud. 49 cost, by the way. And it's 7/7. And before we even start speaking, I gotta say, I love the creativity that he did here. And the cost lowering by 7 as well. So he even texted me this information in the mail. But I think anyone who likes Death Guard a little bit will know the whole shtick with Death Shrouds and Mortarian's obsession with number 7, basically. And the 49, if you notice, Shad, it's also a thing. 49 steps from Mortarian. So they're allowed to be only 49 steps from Mortarian, right? So the flavor, the lore, absolutely perfect. Now let's see what it does. So it's a 49 energy. 49 energy 7/7. And it basically has a passive poison triggers twice. And you lower the cost of this thing by 7 when poison gets applied to a troop. Now, this is a legendary, so you're only going to have 1 of these bad boys in your hand. And a lot of people might actually say that this is like uber powerful. But the thing is, don't forget that unlike the previous card, this one has to be in your hand for you to trigger this. So let's say you use a Chem Strike on 4 targets. That's like 28 cost down from it, and it's still not enough to actually play it, right? So it's not easy to put into play. But if you do put it into play, and if you do get it in the opening hand, it can be pretty strong. So perhaps like this pushes even more tactics-based Mortarian with maybe Tukulka engine or something like that, and you could have a very strong finisher. You just drop this and poison suddenly triggers twice, and if enemy has like something like poison 7, that's like 7 plus 6 damage on 1 single turn. Yeah, pretty scary, and I love the flavor. Yeah, I'll be honest, I really like it. What do you think?
Again, the flavor is spectacular, like you said. It's 7/7, 49 steps, death shrouds. But I just again, it's rearing its ugly head. Is the cost reduction mechanic? That's a very swingy mechanic. Again, it's the same way that the what is it? What's their hard removal called? I don't know. The 6 energy destroy troop reduced by 1 when an enemy dies of poison. It's the same problem. But yeah, the card itself isn't that egregious. Even if you discount it down to a 0 cost by like turn, you can probably do that by turn 3 or 4 if you're lucky. Which is good. Like a 0 energy 7/7 is good, but it's not gonna completely just annihilate the game with no chance of recovery. So it's not too bad, and the double poison is nice. I feel like it should probably have frontline because it's they're the bodyguards flavorfully, but also mechanically, I'm glad it doesn't have it. So yeah, yeah, it would be bad if it did. Oh dear. Yeah, I like it, but again, it's a little swingy. But then to be fair, Death Guard have a ton of those already from official cards, so he's just playing to theme. Honestly, it's not doing anything EG don't. Yeah,
absolutely. It's a very EG thing overall.
Yes.
Okay. So, the next one is from the player Zier, who actually submitted the Dark Angels capital ship last time. So it's yours, Shad.
Oh yeah, monster cards for me. All right, let's see. That is Minotaur, an 18 energy legendary Iron Warrior Astartes. It has 11/16 stats, so big boy. And the art looks like a big boy, so fair enough. Is Minotaur Toromino's Guardian? Oh, that rings a bell. I haven't read enough Iron Warriors lore though. What is Toromino? Do you know what that is?
Toromino's Guardian. Let me actually.
Yeah, you go Google that while I talk the rest of the thing.
Remember that. Oh, I don't remember. Yeah. Oh wait! No! I remember. I think I do remember. I believe from. That was no. I don't remember.
It's the Ultramarines omnibus, isn't it? No, whatever. Anyway, costs 1 less when you trigger attrition. Oh, haven't you? Oh, they're good. Anyway, costs 1 less whenever you trigger attrition, so that's quite an easy trigger. Not gonna lie, But it has rally. Choose one. Deal 6 damage to a random enemy. Give +1 health and load siege to all friendly units, or put in play 3 Iron Warriors 3 and less cost Astartes in play. It also has attrition, heal 3, and give shield to your warlord, and frontline. Honestly, yeah, no, I don't like this card. The art's great, and Toromino, I'm pretty certain is that was one of the big fortresses. I think it's coming back to me now. Like Honsu was guarding, maybe, or Barossus. But it's too easy to discount. It's too swingy. What it does as well. That attrition can fully heal a warlord and like very quickly dig you out of a hole. And it's just got too much that it can do with the rally. Honestly, I don't like it. Sorry, this would have been better as like just a flat 10 without the attrition ability, and I think I would probably have been fine with it. As you'd have had to nerf the stats a bit, obviously. But yeah. What do you think, Teach?
Well, I mean, I love the art, as you said, and it's a big boy. To be honest, like when I saw it, I kind of loved it because of the big boy, cool, and so on. Now, the fact that it costs 18 and it gets reduced in cost when you trigger attrition, this can get reduced in cost quite easily, I would say, because attrition is not that difficult to trigger. His rally, when it comes to dealing 6 damage, I like that maybe it's random because it's like maybe nerfs it a little bit. So it can also hit the enemy warlord, but then he also slows the siege, puts in place 3 Iron Warriors Astartes, and also has like the whole thing. The whole problem I might have with this card is it's overloaded. Once again, does too much.
Yeah, it's a lot of lines of text, isn't it? As well, actually, I think like. General rule of thumb is you can't really go over 7 lines of text on average. I mean, it's not even just a software limitation because yes, the program does sort of clump them, but even if it didn't clump them like that and minimize them, it's just too much text.
I mean, I would say it has like cool points from me for sure. It's cool as hell, but I would say even if this card was just a flat out card with just frontline, yeah, it would be pretty good.
Yeah.
So you make it cheap, you just drop the big fat boy, like when you reduce the cost, and the enemy always has to be careful about this guy because when you drop it, if you can't kill it, then it's just, You know, it's just there. I think, honestly speaking, one of the things that I would do, I would reduce how I would change this card is I would remove most of the lines of the text. I would just make it cost 1 less for when you trigger attrition, and I would reduce the attack significantly, and it would just be a very big, fat, high HP front line, just so that you cannot just drop an unkillable crazy units on the battlefield.
That could work. Yeah, it could work.
Yeah, it does get cool points though. It looks awesome. Okay, move on.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, next one is from our completely sensible Magistus Aman author, and this is going to be Legion. Now, why not?
Meme all you want. I love this card. It's actually good.
This is actually really good. Yeah, this is the Legion. So we already had this card in the game, but it was a tactic, I believe. So basically, it's a 10 energy card, 6/6, and the backlash is put in play 1 Legion, and both players draw 4 cards. So this is like basically defense force, but look at that interesting thing. Both players draw 4 cards. I think this this goes like ideally into the Alpha Legion synergy. Because you drop this thing, it's very slow because it does nothing, just like Defense Force, and Alpha Legion don't really have ways of making this cheap. But it does the best thing that you can do for Alpha Legion. It forces the player to draw cards. If you're playing the old Alpha Legion, traps. If you're playing the new Alpha Legion, the tank, right? Because currently they changed the tank. Now it deals damage according to the enemy's cards in their hands and not yours. So
I mean, it would be disgusting in Legacy with Pale Spear, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I see a lot of synergy with this. I honestly think that it's a pretty cool card because it's like perfect Alpha Legion synergy. Maybe even nerf the stats down a little bit and it would still be very good.
Yeah, you basically took the words out of my mouth there. I love this card. I really do. It's a super cool design. A riff on Defense Force, obviously. Yeah, maybe the stats should be down a little because realistically, that draw 4 cards is, well, we all know what that's going to do in an Alpha Legion deck. But yeah, it's just so cool. And then the 10 cost, the 6 stat, and the draw 4 adds up to 20. I don't know if he meant to do that, or if that was an accident, but 20th Legion, excellent. I really like it. The only slight thing is technically that's not the Defense Force wording anymore because EG patched it out because of the whole infinite looping murder dreadnought glitch that they had. But
yeah,
you know, otherwise, yeah, I like this card a lot. See, just great entries like 10 energy. Don't know why, but I guess it makes people go completely nuts and it works out.
All right, yeah, pretty cool card. I would just say. Okay, so next one for you is from I believe Hypnomarine. Yeah, Hypnomarine. I think did he actually win the last one? I don't remember.
The name seems familiar. Yeah, my memory's horrible though.
Anyway, so Thagus Daravek.
Yes, Thagus Daravek, the legendary Death Guard Astartes. 10 energy, of course, and he has 11/8 stats, so again, pretty chunky boy. No cost reduction on this guy, though, so you have to pay for it. Poisonous 2, which is, again, very strong. And this is interesting. He has Quest, which is not a Death Guard mechanic. A Dark Angels mechanic, obviously. And it says, destroy this troop, your warlord becomes Thagus Daravek, and it heals 5. Like a Reckoning, essentially. So this is a super cool idea that hasn't really been explored in Hearthstone. Not in Hearthstone, sorry, in Horus Heresy yet, but it is similar in Hearthstone because they have cards like that. So like what's he called? Jaraxxus in the Warlock faction, And I quite like this idea of like modular install cards like this. I don't quite understand. I've got his page on Lexicanum because I was like, what the hell is this quest doing here? So I did do a brief skim, but I don't actually kind of get why he has quests.
I think I kind of get where this is coming from.
Okay.
So the whole thing is that this was the guy who was Abaddon's rival, basically. Yeah. So he was basically trying to become the War Master. But basically the thing is, Abaddon was not having any of that shit. And he basically tells Kaon, okay, you gotta go and you gotta put this guy down. And Kaon tries to do that a lot of times. Then he fails again. Then he fails again and again and again. So basically this guy is very, very beefy, right? And in the end, he gets killed, obviously. So I think this might be I might be wrong, but I think what this is representing is that this quest. Is
it was the quest to replace Horus. No, not Horus. Abaddon.
Yeah, perhaps that was the whole thing. And the reason why the quest is to destroy this troop is probably because he dies in the end, I guess. Because that's
also it's kind of flavorful even if you fail the quest, because again he's failing to ascend to the warlord spot, as in the leader. So yeah, I quite like the flavor.
But at the same time, same time, if you Jaraxxus it, basically, it means that he became the War Master, right? So pretty cool.
Well, sometimes triggering the quest is actually going to be a detriment, because you might want the big body to finish your opponent off with. So yeah, there's a lot going on there. Again, quest doesn't belong on Death Guard, but that's only because it's just only appeared on Dark Angels. I mean, arguably quest should have been an Alpha Legion mechanic anyway. It fits their flavor better anyway to begin with. So yeah, I really like it, and very cool mechanical use of quest there. Very cool. Also, I should probably read off the Reckoning form as well. I forgot to mention.
Definitely.
Over that. Yeah. So it turns into a 340, so pretty chunky boy. And it says heals 3 when enemy dies from poison damage. So that's a nice passive, and has 2 energy, give poison 3 to an enemy. So presumably with EG's wording, that is a targeted effect. So pretty easy to leverage as well. Truthfully, my one complaint is I don't think he should be a Death Guard card. Put him in Chaos. I mean, like you said, he was going to become War Master, right? So obviously he should be he should be available in all factions, or at least in all Chaos factions. But you can't really differentiate that in Horus Heresy. Yeah, I like him.
I like him a lot as well. Very cool art, nice flavor.
Oh yeah.
Plus, it's a cool character as well, like maybe underappreciated a little bit.
Oh, I didn't know who he was, so yeah, absolutely underappreciated.
That's kind of what I mean. He's a pretty cool character, and this might come as a surprise to a lot of people, because I play a lot of Abaddon in Horus Heresy Legions, and I play a lot of Abaddon in Warpforge, but I'm not an Abaddon fan. Like ever since he became the Chaos Abaddon, I don't really like the guy, and I'm totally up for having any other War Master than him. That includes either this guy or either Huron Blackheart. So yeah, I'm totally up for this guy. Very good. This card gets a lot of good points from me. So yeah. Okay, moving on.
It's you next, I believe, isn't it?
Yes, and the next person is Mojave Jade. And of course we got a Sharokin. Like, how could we not get one Sharokin? Because Sharokin is a beloved character of a lot of fans. So 10 energy, 8/8. Flank, sneak attack, battle honor, disorient an enemy, and disorient the enemy warlord, and gain stealth. Yeah, this is pretty cool in a sense. I mean, the art is really nice, first of all. Then he has a flank and sneak attack, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, Sharokin is supposed to be that very powerful duelist who's a Raven Guard as well. So stealth, flank, sneak attack, all of those things make a lot of sense. And he also disorients the enemy warlord, right? I think the disorient the enemy warlord. I mean, what I think of, even if he did not disorient the enemy warlord, he's already a great card because he gains stealth, which makes a lot of sense. It's reminiscent of the original Sharokin that we had, who could go into stealth and then deal damage. So his whole idea was strike and stealth, right? And that's the whole point of this card as well. I guess that disorient is just an extra bit for him to have there. I do like it's pretty cool.
I was going to say the disorient is a bit of flavor. Remember, I don't know if you've read. Which one is it? Angel Exterminatus.
But, I have. I have.
Sharokin shoots Fulgrim in the head, so that's why he disorients enemy warlord.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's right. He does shoot Fulgrim in the head.
He vibe checks the Primarch.
Thank you for pointing that out, because I did not remember. I did not
Excellent
make that
flavor
connection.
as well. Using the Emperor's Children mechanic against the Warlord is great. I love it.
That actually makes so much sense now that you say it. I didn't think about him shooting Fulgrim in the head. Yeah.
Surprise, fucker. Boom.
Yeah.
I like a lot of things this card does, but I do have some issues as well. So it's in Shattered Legions or Orphans of War. Excellent choice. He does belong there after he leaves the Raven Guard. The art is spectacular. I feel like you undersold that there, Teach. But look at that. That is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it's 10 energy, 8/8 flank and sneak attack. I mean, we already have something that is less powerful, which is Raptor Guard from Swords of Silence, and that's already busted as hell. So that is too strong. That is way too strong with sneak attack and flank. I would say give him stealth. He's a sniper. That's what he's doing after he's laying in wait, laying the shot down on Fulgrim. Replace flank with stealth. I would like this card a lot more. Again, I've already waxed eloquent about how much I like the Disorient the enemy warlord as well. I don't feel like he should gain the stealth from the battle honor there because that's just going to be very oppressive to play against. But yeah, I do like this card. There's some massive good flavor wins in here.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I just gotta say it's pretty good. I really like it, and I mean he also fucked up Lucius really bad, so he's the he's the official bane of the Emperor's children. So yeah, it's good that he's using their mechanics against them. So totally cool.
All right, my turn then. Sultan Vulbron, the Stone Wrought. This is a guy I actually turned into a warlord for my submission a while back. But he is a 10 energy legendary Iron Warriors Astartes, only a 5/7, which is quite low for a 10 energy card, but he more than makes up for that with his rally ability. So he has rally. For the rest of the game, your tactics deal 2 more damage, so that is a permanent effect. It also has, if you summon 4 or more barricades, which I assume means this game, but it could also mean if you already have them in play, which would be a lot harder to accomplish. But I'm going to assume it's this game, because that's the way it seems closest to the wording. It says, put in play a Trident Command Post. The Trident Command Post is a 6 energy, not that you'll ever play it, because it's a purple, so you can't include it in your deck, but it's a 4/12 with Counter-Attack, and your Warlord has Counter-Attack and Invulnerable. So it is the perfect little panic bunker. I believe this is the place where Sultan Vulbron directed the Siege of Terror from the ground. He was like the guy in charge of the Trident at that point because everyone else more competent had died or lost their mind.
Absolutely. And I'll just quickly add that the flavor is really good because this is what that guy was. This guy is supposed to be that very knowledgeable dude that knows everything about like basically stonework, geology, terrain, everything. So he's like the perfect siege master as well as a very good defender as well. So he kind of fills both spots. And I believe the rally is the siege part, while the Trident Command Post is a defense part. And I also like that the Trident Command Post is kind of counteracted by the fact that your Warlord gets can't attack. So he's just in the bunker, he's just safe, and he's not doing anything.
Yeah, there are a few wording issues here as well, though, obviously, I think. So the rally ability, for example, that should be a quoted effect saying your Warlord gains, and then it has the effect. So for the rest of your game, your tactics deal 2 more damage. It also needs more clarity on what exactly the 4 barricades summon trigger is, and Trident Command Post, slight typo, I think. Command Post should be capitalized, and it should be your Warlord has, not have. But again, minor quibbles. I do really like this card. Nice art as well. That looks AI generated, but like done well. Because AI is easy to do badly, as we all know.
Yeah, I think that's an AI one for sure. But I mean, it looks pretty good. It's not bad.
I like AI. I don't understand people that are so upset about AI. Personally,
I'm totally not upset by AI at all. I think it kind of, the face, it's still cool. I think he rendered it pretty well overall. Maybe it's not as cool as some of the other arts that we had.
Call me a simp. I like seeing a handsome Iron Warrior once.
Fair enough. Can't argue with that. Can't argue with that. All right. I also really do like it, as I said. Maybe we actually didn't mention balance too much here. I think it's fine.
That is true, actually. It's hard to quantify, isn't it? It's such an unusual effect. We haven't seen anything quite like that in the game before. And he is very understated for what he does, technically, if you don't get the Trident. But it's not going to be that hard to get the Trident, realistically.
I mean,
summoning 4 or more barricades over the entirety of the game, that's not that hard to do if you build your deck around it. Yeah. I like him. I think he's balanced. I think he'd be strong. but again, I don't think he really plays into existing decks. I guess you play him. You play him in Kroger, wouldn't you?
Yeah, most
Well,
probably.
would you though? No, because you'd need to build. No, whatever. Enough theory crafting. It's a nice card.
Very well.
like
Then
it.
let's go to the next card by Caliger. And this is the Legion Presage, Legion representative for Imperial Guard faction. 10 energy 5/5. Rally, choose a Legion. Put 3 random Astartes troops from the selected Legion into your hand. They gain drop pod and cost 2 less. So basically, you choose a Legion. You'll get 3 random Astartes. They become cheaper. So, sorry. I think the main problem with this card is kind of visible. Too much randomness, once again. Because you play a 10 energy card. And when you play a 10 energy card, you're expected to get some good value out of it. It's a 10 energy 5/5, so its stats are crazy bad. And when you rally, there are chances that you're going to get very good cards. There are chances that you're going to get crap. So let's say I choose the Iron Hands, right? And at some point I can get the Iron Father and stuff like that. Well, at the same time, I can get the lowest cost card, which is just deal 1 damage, draw a vehicle, right? So I think the RNG kind of puts it off. What do you think?
I actually really like this card. I disagree with your point there. Yes,
Go
there is some
on.
randomness to it, but it's controlled and managed randomness. So theoretically, assuming EG balances the game correctly, pause for laugh track. No, I'm joking. Choosing a Legion is balanced no matter which Legion you get. It's all contextual based on what your deck wants right now. And then the 3 Astartes that you are getting are also technically balanced because assuming EG balances the game correctly, I'm pausing again. The Astartes should all be balanced for their cost, and you're not putting them into play for free, so the cost still matters. You are getting a discount on them, but unless you really low roll and get a 1 cost, you're getting the full discount each time. So it's a 10 energy, but with a discount total of 6. So it's basically a 10 energy 4. It's a 4 energy 5/5, and it gives the drop pod, which is a nice little side benefit, very flavorful. And it's neutral, so you can put it anywhere. I would love to have this card in the game. My only major complaint against it is it shouldn't be legendary. It's not a legendary card. This represents an query, or I honestly, mate, I'd just make it common. It's like this happened all the time. The legions were always supporting the Imperial Guard, the Imperial Army, apologies, and the Solar Auxilia and all the other legions. Cross legion influence and battle tactics were common. I like it. I like it a lot.
Actually,
it should be theoretically balanced.
Actually speaking, you're making a lot of sense. Now that I think about it, the fact that it's neutral, I'd love to have this in the Thousand Suns.
Ooh, Sister Silence is my thought. I want to play this in Kroll.
Yeah, the ones that are kind of struggling with card draw. Oh yeah,
exactly. Neutral card draw. Give me more neutral card draw.
Yeah, I think I think you're making some very good points here, and I really didn't look at it from the perspective of total discount. And yeah, it's kind of controlled, so you can choose the Legion. So you choose a Legion that's maybe has lower RNG chance. Yeah, pretty good. Actually, pretty good. Yeah, I agree.
Nice.
I agree. Pretty good.
Hey, nice. All right.
All right. So
me next, please.
You're the next one, and the next one is Look M.
All right. This is Harek Ironhelm, a legendary space wolf for Astartes. Is 10 energy, of course. It's a 6/5, which is rather low. So let's have a look at the beefy text line. It has fast, first of all. So by itself, that's already strong. And then rally, deal 3 damage to a troop. So that's a targeted ability, of course, but it can't hit the warlord, can't go face. But if the target dies, then it goes face, dealing 3 damage to the enemy warlord. And it also has pack, gain ward. So overall, 10 energy, that can dome the opponent for 9, but only in certain circumstances. So it is good burn, but it's not, the end-all, be-all of burn. And it has a pack, which is decent, but it's not stackable. It'll only give it ward once, and then it just sticks around on the board. You can't, kill it with a 3 damage burn. And the rally is nice, but again, not consistent always. You can't always trigger it and get it off. Overall, yeah, I quite like it. The only major issue, that art is a bit low res, I would say. But yeah, overall, for a fast card, that's remarkably well balanced.
Yeah, I'm actually quite surprised how well balanced it is for a fast card, because fast cards are usually the bane of balance. It's very hard to balance those. Now, for real,
Mm.
it's crazy. But yeah, I really do like it. You attack with it once, maybe it's gonna deal 3 extra damage. You never know. Plus, it has the health. After it attacks, it's either gonna have 3 or 2 health left, depending on the enemy warlord attack, and it gets a ward so it cannot be removed as easily. So yeah,
Mm.
pretty good. I would say very well made and well balanced card. The art, yeah, needs a little work.
Maybe a slight note would be take the ability, because you can shoot your own troops with this, which seems a little unspaceful for me. But
Ooh.
otherwise, yeah, if you could only shoot your opponent's troops, it would be a bit more conditional and maybe therefore a little bit more better balanced as well. Also, there's a slight the colon after rally is got a space in between, so I just little nitpicks. I see these things. I can't help it.
Yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
yeah, but yeah, it's good. I quite like it actually. Yeah. Any other
Okay.
thoughts? Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think so. I think it's just a well made card overall, and
Yeah.
I quite like it. Nice balance. And yeah, art needs work. Oh boy, edgy boys. It's the edgy boys. This is from
Midnight's favorite. You got
Samora.
to get him on here as like a guest.
Maybe we can get him to do that once. I don't know. We'll try. So this is from Samora or Ubel. And we got Curze chosen. Guys, it's not Cruz, it's Curze. The Cruz was the last name of my old boss. Come on, people. Okay, so Cruz. All right, so 15 energy, 710, Curze chosen, resolution ward terror. This card starts in your hand if your warlord is Conrad Curze, which makes a lot of sense because it is Curze chosen. Reduce this card's cost by 1 each time your warlord's active ability is used. So Conrad needs to use his ability 5 times for this to reduce in cost. Now, we need to also keep in mind that if we were playing Legacy Conrad, this will be pretty easy to get, because Legacy Conrad can use his ability multiple times per turn. So it's going to really depend which Conrad we're talking about. And resolution is put copy of Mass Terror in your hands. And Mass Terror is a 4 energy card, which is Warlord gains Bloodthirst and Sneak Attack this turn. Now, here's the interesting thing. I think if we want to talk about this card, we should not talk about the Legacy Curze, because with Legacy Curze, I think this is like a bit too crazy. But then again, there is one important thing. If you're playing Legacy Curze, this guy is easier to get, but at the same time, the Master is kind of shitty, because Legacy Curze most probably already has Bloodthirst to Mercy and Forgiveness, and he probably already is going to have Sneak Attack when he enters Madness, right? So it's kind of wasted. On the other hand, if you're playing current Conrad, it's harder to pull this troop off, but then the Master actually does a good job. So I think in that regard, the card is very well thought out, because it basically tells you want to play this guy for very cheap. Then the ability is kind of crap. It doesn't really grant like instant value in that sense, because you just put down a 710, which has no fast flank or front line. Art is pretty cool. I think it's a pretty okay card overall. What do you think, Shad?
No, I don't like this at all. So, in fact, not to be harsh, but I don't think there's a single thing I like about this card. Cruz is chosen again. That's a spelling error. You already pointed that out. The art is not cropped correctly. There's a bit of a white bar there. It's also like it doesn't look like Curze is chosen. It looks like a sorcerer. You can see the staff in his left hand. It's a 15 cost discount card. Again, the discount by itself isn't actually that bad in this case, because you are paying for it essentially whenever you use your ability. It's got a conditional clause to start in your hand if your warlord is Conrad Curze. The way it's worded, that's a free card. That's an auto include no matter what you do, as long as you're playing Conrad Curze, and it's very unbalanced in any other warlord because you balance around that. I think it is designed for Legacy Curze, I'll be honest, as well, anyway, because like that ability, it synergizes just too much with original Conrad. So I think it was definitely designed with that intent. The wards, Why? They don't have wards. They have stealth. There is no Night Lord with ward. It's not a mechanic that EG slap on anything for no reason. And it's, again, combine that with terror and the fact that it can be potentially free. That's toxic as fuck. The resolution creates mass terror, and mass terror, it's a fine card, but why is it called mass terror? It doesn't have anything to do with like an AoE effect. It's your warlord becomes terrifying. It doesn't terrify a massive group of people. And again, like what you pointed out as well with like how you would use it, there are so many places it just doesn't really fit anywhere. But even when it does work, it either doesn't work at all, or if it works, it's massively swingy and toxic. Yeah, no, I don't this card. Apologies.
I mean, hard to argue with that. But I do like, however, how he thought out the whole thing for Legacy as well as the current one. But yeah, I do agree that there are still a lot of things off with the card as well. All right, let's then move on to Servants of Chaos.
Is it my turn?
Yes, it is.
So, let's see. 10 energy, a rare. I think that's the rare. Emperor's Children Astartes for 6/6 stats. It's the Lord of Profligacy, Experiment of the Selenite Blight Survivor.
However, I gotta say it's a third rare. Yeah. It's the third rare though, because Wolfen and Legion were rare.
Oh, apologies. You're right. Memory. It has Rally. Copy the buffs of a unit and give it to a friendly troop, and then it has Perfection. Steal it instead. So that's a very cool effect. Copy a buff of a unit. It's just it's a little random whether it's going to have any effect or not, though, because a lot of decks don't really run buffs. I mean, stealing a Sigilite's Chosen off an Agents of the Sigilite, that's great. What are you going to steal off, like, I don't know, what doesn't run them? Blood Angels? Blood Angels don't run buffs, do they? I guess they run Last Stand sometimes. They usually kill you with Last Stand.
I think the author might be a Gwent player, because there's like two things here that scream
some similar.
Gwent.
Oh, what I would say is change it to copy the text of a unit, so it just takes everything in the text box. That's how I would do it. And that way it's applicable to anything, no matter what it is, just copying, just stealing something off it. Obviously, if it's a rally effect, it's not going to go off or something like that. But if you can copy sacrifices, you can copy backlashes, you can copy resolutions. That would be, that would have more things you could do with it. It would be less like dead in certain matchups. But yeah, it's a very cool concept.
Yeah, it's a very cool concept because it once again it really reminds me of a card there was in Gwent called Ivar, I believe. So that was the guy that either it basically exchanged its stats with another enemy unit stats, or if you had like certain amounts of cards in hand, it just flat out dealt 4 damage. So I really do like that kind of a thing that is like, either this or that. However, I do think one of the problems that this card might be experiencing is that there's not that many buffs to be on the board, and some factions don't even just do that.
Also, it copies buffs from any unit, which can include Warlord, therefore. So that could be very swingy if it steals some heavy like Warlord buffs. So I would say switch that to troops and make it copy the text, and that's a cool idea. So cool idea, but not perfectly executed.
Honestly speaking, this would be a much better card if it just wasn't the 10 cost Astartes.
Well, also that, yeah. But that was the challenge, and it does. It's that's a very powerful effect in the right case.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah. Cool tech card.
All right. So next is Dmitry Chernenko, and he sent Cadis Next. I do miss Cadis Next, to be honest.
I don't.
That card. And this one is very reminiscent of that Cadis Next. It costs higher, but the stats are better. So it's 10 energy, 10-9, legendary, obviously. Rally, add a Blood Crow to your hand, and enemy warlord has sentence 1. And stealth. When an enemy unit dies, gain stealth. So it's almost the same as the old Cadis Next. The enemy warlord has sentence 1. It's stealth, but since we knew that the old Cadis Next was permanently stealth, but now stealth lasts for only 1 turn, now you can reapply the stealth by destroying units. The Blood Crow itself is a 4 energy card, which deals 5 damage to an enemy troop. If it has Sentence, destroys it instead, or you can choose to deal 3 damage to the enemy warlord, and it has Sentenced, deal 5 damage instead. Oh, brother. This is a little bit too strong. I just gotta first say about balance. Because Cadis Next, as he was originally in Raven Guard, he was already extremely powerful. It was like a win card. Basically, you drop it and, you know, unless the enemy has anti-stealth, they're dead. So when you drop Cadis Next, unless this card is taken out, you're going to deal 11 damage through Cadence next, and then you're also going to shoot Bloodcrow next turn, and you're going to be dealing a 6 bonus damage on the enemy warlord as well. So essentially, when you play this, you're like, okay, like, you got to remove this or you're dead, no matter how much HP you have. So a little bit problem with the balance. I do like how it's reminiscent of the old Cadis Next, but I also think that it's too similar. It's like basically almost the same card with the added rally. So what do you think, Shad?
Yeah, no, you've kind of already said all the things there. It's you drop this, it has stealth, answer it or die. It's not compelling gameplay. Also the Blood Crow is got some very strange wording on it, but yeah, no, and the fact that it re-stealths whenever anything dies for any reason, it's just impossible to deal with. Like you can't kill this thing. For basically any reason, except unless you have anti-stealth. That's the only way you deal with it. And it doesn't need the Blood Crow as well. Yeah, not a fan, really.
Okay, well, I guess move on in that case. Next one is from Gaskul Maguruk Thraka, and it's yours.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite prime minister, Shadrach Meduson, legendary Astartes. It's interesting seeing him in the troop slot instead of a warlord slot, but I mean that was the brief. He's a 10 energy 8/8, and he has rally, gives stealth to all friendly units until next turn. That includes the warlord. And then during your next turn, all friendly units gain +2 attack and sneak attack. So that's interesting. I mean, a 10 energy stealth your board. Obviously, that includes himself as well, so he is essentially a 10 energy 8/8 stealth. If he excluded himself, this might be a little more balanced. Right now, the fact that he protects your warlord and gives you a huge swing back board, that's very swingy, but then he is 10 energy, so he needs to be a little bit swingy. And then during your next turn, all friendly units gain +2 at 0 and sneak attack. I think it's running into the Raven Guard problem again of just like, you can't interact with my board and I'm going to wipe whatever you play. So yeah, I like the flavor. Obviously it fits. You know, he was famous for combining the 3 Shattered Legions together and using all of their strategies together. So he's using the Raven Guard very efficiently here. Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, it's I like the flavor though, in lore wise, because you know the whole thing with Meduson is that he's supposed to be that guy who would combat the traitor forces and really do a lot of damage, and you know the whole shit with his the fact that he managed to do it for quite some time, as I believe, until he was eventually killed. And it's reminiscent of the old Shadrach Meduson, the warlord.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
that
with the sneak
warlord, I
attack.
believe, instead of stealth, had survivor and could grant sneak attack. So it kind of makes sense. But yeah, might be a little too strong though. Yeah. Especially considering it's Orphans of War. But yeah, pretty.
Yeah, they already like to go wide, don't they?
I would say it's quite all right. It's quite all right. Now, I think we should, but I think we can move on. I think it's quite all right, but a little balance issues here and there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the next one's yours.
Next one is mine, but there's like a small mistake I made here in the folder, Shad. The Altered Brethren, I have the newer version, and I'm going to read it out. It's towards the end of the folder. This is from the guy I like to call Perturabo. And of course, he also submitted a meme there, and I'm going to show it. But anyway, first is Altered Brethren. 10 energy 6/5, obviously from Thousand Suns. Psyker 4, Unstoppable, and Resolution transform adjacent Psyker Astartes into Chaos Spawn. And friendly demons gain +2/+1. Okay? Not Chaos Spawn, but it's supposed to be, I believe, the changed Well, wait a minute. Is it the Chaos Spawn? Wait a minute. Something's off here. Yeah, it's that it doesn't turn them into Chaos Spawn. It turns them into the Changed.
No, I actually saw the design process of this in the cards process server while he was like shopping it around. So yeah, the newer version you've got is supposed to turn them into Chaos Spawn, I believe.
Yeah. So he balanced them out. Okay, fair enough.
He nixed the Changed because purple card bad.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so
which I 100% approve of. Well done.
Yeah, absolutely. Then in that case, like, it's a very simple thing, and of course those Chaos Spawn are going to gain the stats, and they're going to become 5/4s. So essentially, you have an understated unit, but it does have Psyker 4. But with the resolution, it's going to turn some Astartes into Chaos Spawn. So basically, I think what this is trying to push is you gotta have some low-cost Thousand Suns units, and then you turn them into Chaos Spawn and spawning some stuff there. I think it's a little weak though. That's the only issue I might have with this. It's pretty cool. It's a nice idea. I like the whole demon build for Thousand Suns. That's pretty cool. I just think it's a little bit weak because at the point when it comes out, I think it's not gonna do that much because it requires you to have those Astartes on the board as well. And if it's not some weak Astartes, you usually don't want your hidden ones and Tetro Cabal to be turning into that, right?
Well, it's worth noting as well. There are some subtleties to the way it's worded, and also a bit of unclear wording. So I'll dock in points for that. But there is something to it as well. Worth noting: friendly demons gain +2/+1 at the end of that. The way that's worded, that's that's part of the resolution. I don't know if that's intended or not. That might have been supposed to be like a passive aura effect. But regardless of how it's supposed to be, he is himself a demon. A misspelled demon, but still a demon.
Oh,
so
nice.
He's actually an 8/6. He's not a 6/5. And if it's part of the resolution effect, which I think it's supposed to be, he's going to keep getting bigger every turn as well. So yeah, and the Chaos Spawn become bigger too. They're 5/4s. So you're trading in your crappy like Tetro Cabals or whatever the recon's called, Prohotpe recon, turn them into 5/4s. Admittedly, they do have maintenance 1 though. Also, it's got Psycho 4, which is chunky and unstoppable, which is good flavor because it has wings, so well done. What was I going to say? I had a point, but I've forgotten it.
I mean, that actually makes it much more interesting for me because I didn't consider that part. So yeah, since it's also a demon, then it actually might be worth playing this guy because it can get bigger and bigger. By the way, worth noting.
My one, sorry.
Oh yeah, go on, please. Go on.
Oh, as well, I was going to say my one change as well would be that it has an unnecessary little clause there of transform only adjacent Psyker Astartes. You don't need that. I mean, I know that it creates some strange cases of if you spawn it in a different faction. But generally speaking, 9 times out of 10, it won't matter. It's less parasitic mechanically if you manage to create it in some way. And there are non-Psyker Thousand Suns Astartes too that just generate Psyker in other ways. They're not flavorfully supposed to be not Psykers, like Tulek Cabal, the one that does the 1 damage and gives you Psyker. That's still a Psyker. It's just making Psyker in different mechanical ways. But flavorfully, it should still be a Psyker. So just have them turn adjacent Astartes into the Chaos Spawn, I would say. Doesn't matter what they are. It's less parasitic.
Let's not forget that there's also a bonus card, Telgral Transcendent, the Bringer of Woes, Champion of Alexandria, the Bane of the Xenoth, and Arch Nemesis of and he's a 10 energy 2/2 terror. Rally permanently disorient all other units. Nice.
Okay, for a meme, this is surprisingly fun. I quite enjoy having this in the game. He's quite funny.
Yeah,
it's not good. It's not good. I don't know, it might be good though, because in a hard control deck, telling your opponent, no, you can't attack me without, getting lucky, it honestly might even be playable. It's in a very slow meta, who knows? Oh, wait, no, never mind, I take it back. It's the way it's worded is wrong. It only permanently disorients all units currently in play, so any units they play after the effect won't have the disorient. If it just said all units have disorient forever, I would love it.
That would be pretty funny.
I know, right? Also, Astartes and demons are spelled wrong. I know, big irritation of mine. Spelling. No.
Anyway, the next
But-
one's yours, Shad.
Yeah.
It's
I was
from
gonna say,
Light.
overall, I quite like Altered Brethren, I'll say.
Yeah.
But yes, anyway, my turn.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's see. This is Jareg, a 9/9 World Eaters Astartes for 10 energy, of course. Centered text, don't do that, put it on the left. But Chief Tech Marine, good art for that. He definitely looks like a Tech Marine, what you can see on his arms. He has Berserk and Rally. Put copies of 2 random vehicles from your deck. It doesn't say what you actually do with them, but I'm going to assume that means put them into play. That seems the most likely. And then it has Rage. Friendly vehicles gain +1/+1. So there's a lot of issues with the formatting here. It's also quite random. I don't know if I like. There's some cool things going on here. I like the Rage trigger. And for 10 energy, putting 2 random vehicles into play, I suppose, is somewhat balanced. It's just no, it's not. It's too strong. Like it's too strong and too random. I do like a lot of it though. Yeah.
It is pushing the vehicle type of World Eater, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's true. World Eaters don't really play their vehicles, do they?
Only the fast ones.
Yeah, the low-cost shit ones. But you could also play it with neutrals. I like that. I like the fact it gets any vehicle out of the deck. It doesn't have to be a faction one. I always appreciate, faction agnostic cards like that. Lots of formatting issues. Berserk should have a comma after it. The Rally should have a colon. It should be the Rage should have a colon. The +1/+1 should be the other way around. So the plus happens before Astartes has no A in it. And the Jareg should not be centered. It should be onto the left. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, keep submitting, man. That's promise. I like that. Yeah, in some ways.
Pretty cool card. Nice art. I like the flavor, to be honest. Yeah, the RNG is a little bit shitty because if you drop 2 Leviathan Dreadnoughts, then have a good game. But at the same time, you can drop like very bad ones.
Well, no, you're going to build a deck to only have the high cost ones in it.
Yeah, this is going to be the desperate defense type of cancer. So
yeah, that's the problem. But again, it's not bad.
Absolutely. Very well.
I think you're next, are you?
Yeah. Yep, it's double Yorik's Durak Rask. Marshal of Ordnance. I miss Durak Rask. So 10 energy, 8/10. Baldy. Okay, Poisonous 2. Rally, deal 1 damage to all friendly troops. And give +1 and Poisonous 2 to survivors. And with 2 energy, you give Poison 2 to a random enemy troop. You know what? I could see this being played with Kaifa Morarg, I guess, somebody who can spam the board. It's just that I think it's a little bit on the weak side. I would say if this was an Astartes card that is not 10 cost, maybe was more towards the 6 cost or something like that, it could be pretty interesting. It could be a potential finisher. Like when you spam the board and you suddenly just drop this guy and then you attack with a lot of poison to the enemy. I think the whole thing, the problem I have with this card is that I think it's just weak for its cost. I might be missing something here, but it seems kind of weak because it essentially wants you to have a lot of troops on the board which are going to take poison. Because the best use of this card would be to just have a board, drop this, and then poison the enemy warlord for a lot, right? Other than that, it's just a 10 energy, 8/10 do nothing. What do you think?
Yeah, you're pretty spot on with the analysis there. It's got some interesting stuff going on, but it's a bit weak. There's other issues as well. So the Rally should have a colon in it. Also, you don't need to specify survivors because it doesn't matter if you give +1 hell attack and poisonous 2 to survivors. If they die, because they die, so it doesn't matter. They're not here anyway. It doesn't matter if you give it to them. The 2 energy ability, poison 2 to random enemy troop. You're never going to use that. Why would you use that? It's an 8/10. It's gonna be bashing. What I would say for that ability, like active, and maybe some part of the Rally as well, tie it into the original Warlord. Maybe have it be 2 energy, give poisonous 2 to all damaged enemies or something like that. So playing back into how his old ability used to work. Other things, Durak Rask is the name is centered. Don't do that. Put it on the left. The art is not quite cropped correctly. There's a little bit of blank space at the bottom, but yeah. Otherwise, it's interesting. I've not seen anything like that before, and it is quite cool. The idea of hurting your troops and buffing them with a Warlord in Death Guard. It's very flavorful because they were all about enduring damage.
Yeah, I think the main problem with Durak Rask here is it's just too weak.
Yeah, that too.
I think that's where we get the problem. All right, move on.
Yeah, sure. So me then. All right. I don't think that's spelt right. Kenentai. I think it's supposed to be Kenetai, isn't it? Kenai Cabal.
Yes.
It's a 10 energy, 10/8 for the 1,000 Suns and Astartes, of course. It is the Blade Cabal, and it has First Strike, fittingly, for these guys. I believe they were telepathic, so they could read your move before you used it. It also has Flank. That's a dangerous combo right there. Yeah. And Bloodthirst. That's a very dangerous combo.
Holy
and
hell.
Battle on it gets even bigger. So, yeah. Balance issues. Holy hell, this is way too strong. But, cool, in a way. Some flavorful aspects there. It's just... I don't know. It doesn't feel very 1,000 Sunsy to me. It has no Psyker interplay. Right. Before we do any balancing things, it's just way too strong. What I would say is remove the Battle Honor, probably the Bloodthirst too. Don't know if it even needs the First Strike, but probably keep that. Make it have 0 attack, but this troop has attack equal to your psychic energy. How cool would that be?
Ooh, that would be amazing. That would be so cool.
I would love to see a Kenetai Blade Cabal in the game in some fashion. We basically only have Sanact to represent them right now. So, yeah, it's a cool idea. Just, it's way too strong. Don't like the execution.
Yeah, I mean, it would be cool to have, it would be really cool to have some Warriors 1,000 Suns. You know what I mean? Because, I mean
instead of nerds.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of works because these guys can basically read the future, for fuck's sake. So,
no, they would... Pound for pound, the 1,000 Suns were easily the strongest legion, but they just didn't have enough of them.
Mm. And their leader was a complete degenerate, so that's also bad. Yeah, that's like...
Let's not get into politics after...
Magnus did nothing wrong, or did he, right? So that's
No, he did nothing wrong. It's not up for the debate.
Yeah, I like the art. I'm gonna mention that. It's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Badly cropped, though, again.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, maybe it should be like a little bit closer.
But that is a nice piece.
It looks cool. I think there's a lot of potential in this card. Currently has just balance issues, like way too strong.
Yeah.
But you know what? I was about to say that, like, it's way too strong because it's a card that can kill 2 units instantly, but... You should see what they added for the Tau when they released it in Warpforge.
Oh, did they make stuff? This is fucking Warpforge, man. Don't talk to me about Warpforge. It just makes me angry. You're only making me angry. Right. But yeah, no, that's Raptor Guard on steroids. Don't do that. Anyway, is yours next, I believe?
Old Man Bob. So this is Old Man Bob's card with Akos Lamiad, Primarch's champion. Once again, very beautifully rendered art. I think it's his maid once again with AI.
He's amazing at this.
16 energy, 12/12 front line. Enemy troops can't attack while this troop is in play. Ooh. And cost 1 less for every time you have triggered Courage this game. Holy hell, that's pretty cool. That is really powerful. It synergizes super well with Ultramarines. Obviously, it will not incentivize any new type of play because it's just pushing you for more courage, but at the same time it does make a lot of sense because I mean if you think about it, that's what they're going to be doing. Okay, that's what Ultramarines are always going to be doing. They're going to be playing for courage, and once you drop this bad boy, your warlord is like protected like permanently until this this lives. I think it's pretty good. It's just a very direct, simple, and powerful card. What would you say?
No, I hate it.
Why?
It's toxic as fuck. I love the art. Don't get me wrong, Old Man Bob. You make amazing art no matter what you do. Look at this unit. He doesn't even bother bringing a weapon. He doesn't need one. But no, good grief, man. I mean, look at that. Look at how hard that shuts a game down. I mean, you're getting your courage triggers, so you're winning anyway. You got front line, so the warlord can't be face bashed. Enemy troops can't do anything, because let's be real, active abilities aren't a thing in this game. There's like 3 troops that are played that actually matter that have it. And it's just it. You can either kill it with the tactic, or the game is over. That's no, absolutely not. I would say switch it so it has like whenever you don't trigger courage, perhaps, or something like that. That way, it's you're getting a bit of a consolation prize, perhaps. But yeah, it's too heavily statted. It's too much of a shutdown. Either remove the enemy troops have counterattack, that would be my suggestion, or the front line. It can't have both. It really can't have both. But yeah, no, the art's amazing as always.
Yeah, I guess maybe some balancing issues once again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Me, I believe.
That is you, and this is from Alex Simonson.
Okay. This is Vermana Cybus, a Morlock Terminator. So this guy was a badass. I went into a war as well for that video ages ago. He is a 10 energy 8/9 legendary with Vantage. First time seeing that on an Iron Hands card. Very interesting. And you have 0 max energy while this is in play, which is a very intriguing piece of design space there. I haven't gone into anywhere like that before. And a 0 energy ability saying your next 2 cards cost 0 this turn. See, that was getting somewhere, but then it just kind of veered off into like combo nonsense, basically. So there's a few strange things that have to be addressed here, which is, what does 0 max energy mean exactly? Does that mean you can't... Does it mean that you can't have 0 you won't generate energy on your next turn, or does it mean that it all just disappears instantly? Well, I guess it doesn't matter because he's 10 energy, you're playing him anyway. But then he just immediately drops 2 other massive troops, so there'll be Desperate Defenses of some kind. It has Vantage, so if you summon it with Desperate Defense, it'll still function as well. And it's just a very toxic gameplay. It's very, like, a bit toxic and also not very imaginative. It'll just play like, you'll just be playing more big boys.
Maybe it's a more fair Malagurst.
Perhaps. I don't know. I think it's the fact that it's I don't know. Well, 10 energy makes it a little fair, but the fact that it's completely controllable also makes it a lot easier to break.
Maybe just remove the Vantage.
Maybe, but then it's crap. So you wouldn't play it without the Vantage. It would be bad. So I don't really know what to do with this. It's,
there's some potential in it. I love the Vantage. I love you have max energy 0.
It's very cool, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if you would change the active ability. It's not that it's too strong. It's just annoying. That's the moment. I wouldn't say
it might be too strong.
Yeah, I mean, it might be too strong, but once again, we have some similar stuff in the game. Not saying it's good, but yeah, perhaps this could have some other type of ability that just generates a lot of value, and basically like you're having that 0 energy is like maintenance 10, basically. But instead of since it's not a demon, you do have to say it has 0 max energy. Maybe.
What if it was like Rally and Relentless reduce cards in your hands cost by 1 or something? So like all your Mecha Dendrites instantly become free. All Metics.
That would be really cool. Yeah.
And actually using the Relentless a bit there. So you still have 0 max energy. So while he's on the field, it's slowing you down. But the longer your opponent leaves it alive, the heavy the hit is going to be when he's removed and you have 10 energy again.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that idea.
Also using Relentless because Iron Hand, they've forgotten that Iron Hands have Relentless.
Yeah. Iron Hands. I think even in the current Iron Hands, I don't have a lot of Relentless anymore.
No one likes Iron Hands, not even the Iron Hands.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is the reality. Okay, Shad, the next one is mine, right?
Ooh, another Death Shroud. Interesting. Right.
Okay, and this is from... Let me double check if I know who this is from. Okay, I cannot find who this is from, but...
Well, whoever you are, we love you. Maybe.
And,
depends how this card goes.
I mean, yeah, if he wins, then I'll have to search up who it is. But anyway, so we got another Death Shroud, very badly cropped though.
I was gonna say that. You stole my joke.
So it's a 10 energy 4/5. Survivor 2, put in play 1 Death Shroud, so it's a rally, so you basically summon 2 of these bad boys. And after an enemy attacks, give it poison 1. So basically you're playing 10 energy 4/5 twice with Survivor 2, and Every time the enemy is attacking, it's getting poison 1. Ooh, I guess somewhat it makes sense in terms of it being like a bodyguard. So every time you're attacked, you're being punished. Maybe it could be like every time an enemy attacks your warlord, give poison 1 to the enemy warlord. Maybe that would be a little more, a little better, because I assume like whenever an enemy is attacking. But then again, this is also good because it helps Mortarion a lot because he can trigger poison more. I'm actually not sure. What do you think?
I really like it, yeah. It does one of my favorite things, which is when they don't explicitly say, like, this has massive buff when you play this warlord, but it does synergize with that warlord, but in, like, a universal way. Because, like you said, it's really good with Mortarion, because those poison triggers will discount his Reckoning really fast. Because each one is individual, so whenever an enemy attacks, it's getting poison 1 twice, not just poison 2. So that's two ticks. It seems relatively fairly statted. It does a defensive thing without having frontline, which is, more interactive. I actually prefer his version to the one you suggested, though, Teach, because if it gave it to the enemy warlord, it would basically lock you out of attacking. So, because your warlord will just die. This way, if you have sacrificial chaff, they can still attack, and if it's going to die on the attack anyway, it can still attack. It's a bit more balanced. The survivor, that feels a little random at times. I don't know whether I like that. It might have been better if they were just 4/7s, because again, I get the intent, it's forcing them to attack multiple times because of the survivor. There's no way to kill them cleanly in a single hit. But I think that might be a bit much. So I do like it. I like it a lot.
Actually, yeah, you do make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
In terms
is
of...
it balanced? I don't know. I like it. I think it's reasonably balanced.
Yeah, I guess you're right about that.
It won't save you, will it? If you're about to die, it won't save you.
Yeah, I think it's totally fine. And I did find this is from Stabal, and not Sabal, sorry, Shabal. This is the guy who sent it over. And yeah, now that I listen to your reasoning, yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's fairly balanced. It's not too strong. And you're right. If it gave it to the enemy warlord, it would just be way too annoying. And this way, it's synergized with Mortarion a lot as well. So I guess that's totally fine. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, right, Shad, you get the Night Lord. Congratulations.
Oh, okay.
All
right, nice art, by the way. Atramentar Bodyguard, 10 energy, 4/6, so rather understated, so it must have some pretty nice text. And it has Frontline for Atramentar, who are the bodyguards of the Primarch, makes sense. And it also has, at the start of the game, delete this card from your deck and give your Warlord, when your Warlord first time have 10 or less health, put in play Atramentar Bodyguard. Alright. I see what you're going for here, but no. So this is a card that you would never not play. There is no reason to not play this. It's an auto-include, because it's deleted from your deck. So even if it was a card that just said, delete this from your deck and do nothing else, you would still always play this because it thins your deck and makes it more consistent. The fact that it also gives you a free 4/6 frontline out of nowhere for no investment, literally zero investment, actually, no, literally negative investment, because it benefits your deck just by being there. No. It's a cool idea, but it's horrible game design. How would you balance this and make it still function in its intended role? Maybe I would say have it be put in play. So that's what I would say. So if it's in your hand when your Warlord drops to 10 or less health, then or something like that. Or maybe it costs 0 if your Warlord has 10 or less health, because that way it's a shit draw when you don't have 10 or less health, which balances it. It's basically a dead card until the trigger is met, in which case it becomes a very good card. So that's the payoff. That's the trade-off. I don't know. What do you think, Siege?
Great art, as you said. A little bit too powerful. I do, once again, I'm a sucker for this summon from your deck and all the type of cards.
Dangerous,
but
though,
it's very dangerous, yeah. I would say perhaps you could have it like, when this is in your hand and your Warlord has 10 or less health, put this into play and draw a card. And nothing else, and that would be pretty cool.
No, draw a card. No, it's already, dude. You're already getting free value. It's don't tack more value on.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, that would work. That would work. Yeah.
Yeah, because right now it's too good. Because once again, it's thinning your deck and also giving you free cards. So 3 units on the board with front line. So yeah, a little bit too scary, I guess. But it does have, once again, it does have potential.
There's design space there for sure. It's just,
All
not like
right.
that. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. So this is from Carter and Solomon Khan. And Solomon Khan, the Golden Star Brotherhood's 10 energy 6/6, so understated, but has rally put in play 2 Knight Centura. And while in your hand, give your warlord a random Sisters of Silence relic each turn, up to 5 relics. And by relics, he submitted a second card. He means that it's either Ratine Armor or Execution Blade.
Well, only those two?
Only those two for now.
Huh. That seems odd, but okay.
Yeah, I believe that was supposed to be the ones because, like, I mean, that's the extra picture that he sent. There might be some other ones as well, I believe, but let's just keep it at these two for now. I think even without giving your warlord the relic, it would be a pretty good card. You would rally, you just drop 2 Knights Centura. It makes sense because, Solomon Khan's lore-wise, Knights Centuras make a lot of sense. That's why the warlord Solomon Khan used to be able to summon a Knight Centura. Plus, the current one gives you Sisters of Silence troops. So it kind of would make sense. So it would be, 10 energy 6/6, summoning 2 3/5s with front line. In terms of giving you a relic every turn, well, it has to be in your hand, obviously. So if you start with this in your hand, it kind of gives you a lot of value, which counteracts it being 10 energy. But sometimes it can get a lot really toxic because if you get Execution Blades, it can get pretty ugly. Because 3 attack on a warlord is already very dangerous. So if you get this very early in the game, it might be strong. Also, it's a Sisters of Silence card, if you actually noticed. So it might be a little bit scary. I partially really like the design. Well, flavor is good, obviously. It makes a lot of sense lore-wise and all of that. I also like how he's included in the Sisters of Silence. But I think the whole relic part is a little too much. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's again, this is a dangerous place to step. It's free card advantage. You don't do anything. It just has to like passively exist in your hand. So that's not good. That I like the idea of him giving relics in some way, but not like this. If it's going to give you free stuff, it needs to have a trade-off. So maybe it would be like, while this gives you give them a Sisters of Silence relic each turn and costs like reduce your current energy by 1, maybe. So like you have to pay for these cards, and sometimes that can screw you over. That would be balanced, but free. No, don't do that. Also, arbitrary like 5 limit is a bit strange. I don't know if there's a lore justification for that. Maybe I haven't read his book, I'm afraid. Otherwise, yeah, it's just a slightly different Defenders of Terror, really, isn't it? Probably a bit too well statted, to be honest, though, because those are decent sized bodies, and there are 3 of them. But yeah, no, I quite like the flavor in some ways. But yeah, it's got too many broken design elements. I don't mean broken in like balance. I mean broken just like they don't function in a healthy way, which is a shame.
I mean, once again, it does make like sense in terms of the relics because he was the dude that he basically returned some relics essentially to them. So it does make lore-wise sense. Once again, I'm not sure if it was 5 or not though.
Have him do like the crucial choice effect then on a rally or something. That'd be because that's the it can be all kinds of relics then.
Yeah, like I assume. I mean, as I said, flavor-wise, it's really good. It's pretty good, and the relics also make a lot of sense. So yeah, but I think it could use a little bit of a change, basically.
All right, me next.
Yep, and funny enough, we had 2 back-to-back submissions of the first Obliterator. So first one's from this one is from Zvoxis. So take a look.
All right, Volk Sararam, the first Obliterator, 14 energy, 7/13. He has frontline. He also has Savage, deal 3, Ordnance 2, damage to all enemies. -1 cost when you play a card with Ordnance. So, Obviously, it has the thing of like it discounts based on when you draw it, which is not ideal, but sometimes they exist. The problem with Ordnance is it's kind of random what gets it. Ordnance is a very tacked on mechanic by EG. They kind of introduced it to try and balance out Titans, and it didn't do that. It just nerfed vehicles. You're interacting with a mechanic that is basically already failed and flawed. I get where you're going with, and like Iron Warriors would interact with it a lot, so I understand the flavor, but it's a bit, it's like starting from a bad foundation in this case. The rest of it's got some interesting stuff though. I see it is heavy, but it doesn't have immediate effect except for the front line, so that's relatively balanced because the fact that you can still get it turned around on you by a hard removal. It's all right basically. No strong feelings.
Yeah, I mean, it looks cool. I guess I totally get the idea. The real problem that I have with this card is that if you draw this too late into the game, it might just end up being unplayable.
Yeah.
Because Ordnance is scarce, it's not that common. Like I can understand there are like some cards that even if you draw later into the game, it's still possible to play it. But this one outright tells you if it's too late, then you just can't play it. So that's the only beef I have with the card, honestly.
Yeah, that is a good point. I didn't think of that.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. It's the same thing. Simon Policier. Once again, Volk the first Obliterator. This Volk is 10 energy and 414. Has Vantage. Has Awakened. Has Attrition to deal 1 to 4 damage. Ordnance 2 to all enemy troops. It's actually scary how these things are similar. But
they are both Obliterators. Obliterators have a very specific theme, don't they?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, pretty much. And it makes sense that they can deal AoE because, as I remember, these guys can manifest any friggin' weapon they want. So, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere there. And the active is create absorbed weaponry into your hand and can act again. By the way, this one is an Astartes vehicle demon. So it's like a mixture. 414 on the stats. And absorbed weaponry is replace the ability of Volk, the first Obliterator, with a random Titan weapons ability until the end of your turn. Your next turn. Load the siege of your ability. So essentially, if I play this guy, I can just do the absorbed weaponry as long as I have, let's say, drilling sights. And if I get lucky, I might actually load a 16 damage cannon, right? Or 12 damage cannon, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think that's the highest damage one now, isn't it?
Yeah, this is very, very scary, honestly. It's a little bit complicated, once again. I think simplicity is sometimes the key, to be honest. They're very similar, these two cards. I guess this one has the edge of having like an extra interesting mechanic in there, but it can turn off being very very toxic. Because if you do get that weapon, it's gonna be very, very scary. Now, there's like one thing that I want to ask. I'm not too sure because I just don't remember. Are these things able to generate Titan weapons?
What do you mean?
So are they able to manifest Titan weapons?
Oh, technically no, they're not that powerful. They're like a mega Terminator, basically. They're below a Dreadnought. But this is the first Terminator, and it's a game abstraction, so like fair enough.
Yeah, but, perhaps, yeah, fair enough. Once again, I think it's all right. It's hard to decide which one is better, though.
Yeah, I think you nailed it with your simplicity is sometimes key point, because it's got a lot going on here. And realistically, the cool part is the Titan weapon, so that should have been what was focused on. There's Vantage, Awakened. The attrition is too much as well. Like it's adding too much utility to the card. And again, like the absorbed weaponry purple stuff, it's just a bit much. I would probably say just make him a rally and he gains the ability of a Titan weapon that you can choose, because if you choose, it's less random, which is less infuriating to play with and against, because no one's going to be happy loading up a missile launcher, whereas if you get the plasma obliterator or whatever, that's a big swing. But yeah, just that would be my pitch. Make it just a rally, choose and gain the ability of a Titan weapon of your choice. And since it'll have siege, it interacts with Iron Warrior's abilities. Awakened is a nice flavor touch, but it is also a bit of a nerf. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I like playing around with Titan weapons. I did something similar with my Mechanicum Warlord, but he wasn't very good. Not happy with how he turned out. But the idea is cool.
All right, SMKG Gaming, ZZMKG Gaming, I guess. So that's your Shad.
Oh yeah, so this is a 10 energy Ultramarines Legendary Astartes, 7/10 Tetrarch Lamad. It says Tetrarch Ikos Lamiad, the Defender of Konor. And this is one of my favorite pieces of Warhammer art ever. This is the first codex I ever bought as a kid.
Yeah, fourth edition, look really cool.
4th edition Space Marine Codex, I believe. So that is Courage and Relentless. Put in play a random Mechanicum vehicle that costs 7 or more and give it flank. So I don't actually know what the variance is on that. It's not that high. I think I don't understand the flavor too much. I assume Konor is some kind of big like Forge World would be my guess.
Yes, it is, and I guess the whole thing is that like basically he was, I believe, turned into a
charge, right?
Yeah. Oh, he turned a Dreadnought, so basically buys a Mechanicum dude. So it does make sense that he is tied to Mechanicum. That makes a lot of sense. So I believe that does make a lot of sense.
It just doesn't do a whole lot. It's just kind of generic value is the problem.
Yeah.
Which, they're not lacking. Ultramarines have lots of... it's fine.
Oh, actually, no, wait. Wait, I'm wrong. He was not turned into a Dreadnought. I believe he was supposed to be, but Mechanicum managed to avoid him getting turned into a Dreadnought. And he was basically just... his body was basically just fixed.
Oh, fair enough. Became a Mechanicum thing then. Yeah, there you go then. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's what I'd have done then. Having be like rally, choose a Mechanicum vehicle, gain its stats and abilities or something. That'd be quite neat.
Yeah, that would be
mixing the two together.
Yeah, I was about to say like why don't you just do a Dreadnought theme then? But then I remembered he's not.
He's not a Dreadnought. Yeah.
Yeah, he never really got to become a Dreadnought. So yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I think he's okay. It's just that like it can get a little toxic. Imagine dropping this and getting an abominable intelligence.
Yeah, or the Macro Carrot Explorator.
That might be a little too ugly. But I do love the art as well. It's really good. Okay.
Back when Warhammer had soul.
Yeah, back when it actually was really good. I don't want to sound like that guy, but
no one likes Primaris. Fuck off. All right.
All right. The next person that we got here is from Ravenous Tal and Zoshal. Zosahal, not Shal. The Talon Master. So 10 energy, 9/9, another Night Lord. Well, everybody knows that Night Lords have a lot of fans. So 10 energy, 9/9, and their arts are so good though. Okay, so 10 energy, 9/9, terror, stealth, flank, murder. All enemy units gain can't attack until your next turn. The only thing I kind of don't get here is that how does flank and stealth kind of... Oh, I know. So basically you can either use it as a flank or just drop it as a stealth.
I've always liked that interaction when you have those two on a card. Yeah, that is cool.
So it basically gives you a choice, which is interesting. And all enemy units gain can't attack until your next turn, right? Yeah, so first of all, the art is really good, I guess. And makes a lot of sense. Talon Master, so he needs to have that stealth, and he needs to have some sort of flanking or that kind of mechanic. I do like the murder with can't attack. It kind of is a very Night Lordy thing, I guess. Maybe it's not too overpowered either, because knowing Horus Heresy Legions, when you drop this bad boy and he takes out a target, probably it's the Warlord that's gonna get the can't attack, not anything else.
No, it's all enemy units.
Yeah, but what I meant is like probably they don't have anything else on the board.
Oh, right. Well, it doesn't matter if they have anything on the board or attack. So yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's toxic.
yeah, it goes into the type of being too strong once again.
Mm.
But I do
Yeah.
like the interaction with stealth and flank. That
Yes.
one's bonus points for sure. What do you think?
Yeah, it's way too heavily statted. The card itself, I mean, yes, the effect is toxic, but there's nothing wrong theoretically with stall mechanics as long as they're interactable. So it doesn't regain stealth, that's good. It can be attacked and shot at. It's just too tough. If you could, like, this thing could be way lower statted and it'd be balanced. It should be like a 5/5 or a 5/4 or something. Because like compare it to the Sisters of Silence one again, that's like the gold standard for 10 drops in the game. That thing is weaker than this, I would say, and it's still one of the best cards in the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's too strong. Also, no unstoppable, but he has a jump pack. Pet peeve. But yeah, nerf it down. It's a decent card.
Okay, next is yours by Hugo.
Okay, let's see. A meme. All right, True Alfarius. Actually, it's a complicated card. True Alfarius, an Alpha Legion 10 energy card. It's a 7/12. It has stealth and sneak attack, which is fitting for someone cosplaying as Alfarius. And it has battle honor. Gains stealth. While this troop is on the board, your warlord has survival 1. If your warlord triggers it, he transforms into Alfarius and changes health to the current health of this troop. Destroy this troop. So I get what you're going for here. It's this guy is your real warlord, and if your actual warlord dies, this guy becomes it. I don't think that's quite the best implementation, but again, it's a very weird mechanic to word, so I don't fault you for that. God, how would you do that?
This is another Jiraxis type of world card.
Kinda, yeah. Not quite the same, but yeah, it's neat. You have to answer it before you can kill the warlord. And then your warlord, I assume your warlord becomes like regular Alfarius. But yeah, it's cool. God, it's complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little too complicated, but I do see what he's going for there. It's not bad for sure. It's pretty interesting, to say the least. So essentially, you drop this big boy, and yeah, basically what you can do with this is that you use it as a very big, strong unit, or it can end up being a saving grace for your warlord and turn it into Alfarius. If this was not, you know what I would love? If this was a neutral card.
That'd be funny. Yeah. What a slight problem as well, though, is the interaction of stealth, sneak attack, and the fact it can regain stealth. That's also very toxic. Yeah. So considering this is basically pseudo frontline, I'd say like maybe lower it to like a 4/12, maybe. That way you can keep all of the stuff it has. But also, again, just remove the battle honor. You've got too many lines of text on there, so cutting that would be a good thing. But it's a cool card. I like the idea.
Yeah, the idea is really interesting, and obviously, Alfarius. So yeah, it fits the theme.
We're all Alfarius.
Fits the theme. All right, then let's move on. The next one is Aura Magma by Little Grey Dog. Reckless Firebrand. So 10 energy, 6/7. Psyker 3 and Shield. Rally, draw your entire deck for each. But look at this. For each psychic power that did not fit in your hand, deal 2 damage to all enemies. I like it. I'll be honest, I like it. So it's like a last resort card. You drop it, and it is also possible to play this guy, play a deck around this guy with a lot of psychic power, and this would be the finisher. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is like pretty crazy. And it also kind of makes sense because if you think about it, well, this guy is the guy who basically got blown up by his own spell, right?
Yeah, he went Kamehameha against Lemon Rush.
Yeah,
it didn't work out.
And he had the Primarch. I'm a Primarch. I'm a Space Wolf Mino-like nerds, and he reflected it on him. So yeah, didn't go too well. And it kind of the flavor is really good. The flavor is really, really, really good. Uh, I, it's a weird card. I kind of do like it though. It does push a different type of play, I guess. It basically tells you, play this, then I'm gonna draw your entire deck. You're not gonna have cards anymore, but you're potentially gonna deal lethal damage to everything. And if you have Book of Magnus in your hand, then you can refill your deck and not die to attrition. I mean, it's a little too risky, but I do like where this is going. Maybe not draw your entire deck, but instead have like draw 5 cards or something, and something like that. I'm not too sure. What do you think?
No, I don't like it at all. It's funny, but it's a very linear combo game plan. It would either make a really toxic combo deck or it would be completely unplayable. There's no in between. So yeah, it's just too much. It's because it does the damage for every card, for each psychic power didn't fit in your hands. You just stuff your deck full of psychic powers and spin that wheel, and it'll do anywhere from like 2 to 12 damage, probably realistically on average. No. I don't know what you do with this. It's a cool. I love like Aura Magma is just asking for a card, but I can't think exactly what you do with him right now. But yeah, right now it's toxic. Not a good idea. But it's so cool card, cool flavor.
Okay, so in that case, let us move to Liskian's card. I forgot to put the new mechanic that he has into this folder, so I'll just quickly read the mechanic to you, and then you can read the card. So it's basically combination X by as in like whatever number is there. Yeah. So after dealing damage in combat, deal X additional damage. If you attack, this additional damage will trigger allied effects as it would be a separate attack. So basically, if you have combination 2, when you're dealing damage, you deal 2 extra damage, and when you attack, this additional damage will trigger allied effects such as it would be a separate attack. So essentially, you'll trigger pack twice when you
Does it specify whether the troop attacking needs to survive?
No, it does. It just said if you attack.
All right. Yeah. So it's okay. So it's Fafner Bloodbrooder, 10 energy, Space Wolf for Astartes. It's an Astartes / Thunderwolf. We'll get to that in a minute. It's an 8/12, and it has first of all courage, gain flank and refill 2, which seems odd.
Oh, and it actually does make a little bit of sense. I'll say it later.
Well, I know why he's trying to do it, but like it's no. And then 2 energy, add Thunderwolf as type to self, which is redundant because it already has Thunderwolf, so that's an oversight there. And gain combination 4, and it also has can act again. So that's one hell of an attack buff. If this thing lives, it's going to kill someone. And then backlash, return this card in your deck and lower the base stats by 2/2. So it just keeps on coming back by getting worse each time. Unless it's supposed to also reduce the cost, which I don't think it is. It's not worded that way. No, I don't like this at all. It's just a big block of stuff. I mean, combination has promise because it's basically a double pack trigger, so that's interesting in its own way. But I don't think it's ubiquitous enough to deserve a keyword. You can just write that in as text, honestly, and the rest of it's all just a big mush of generic value. So yeah, no, not a fan.
Yeah, so basically what do I think about this? I think kind of makes sense with the whole courage and refill, because with the whole Ultramarines thing with him. So he did fight with the Ultramarines a couple of times, which makes a lot of sense.
Fair enough then.
So that makes sense that he has that. When it comes to like the ability itself, the combination, it's interesting because it basically tells you that you can trigger double pack. But
yeah, and I get the flavor right because he's a Thunderwolf rider, so that's his Thunderwolf attacking alongside him.
But yeah, so it makes a lot of sense. So backlash, return this card into your deck and lower the base cost by -2.
No, base stats.
Base stats,
no cost.
Yeah. So it's going to become a 6-10, then it's going to become a 4-8. So it's slowly going to turn into a 0 something, right?
0-4, I believe, yeah.
So it's slowly going to become a 0-4. Yeah, you know what? I think it's fine. But once again, I think it's a little... There's something off, and I'm thinking about what exactly is it off. I think it's overloaded, that's the thing, once again.
Yeah, well, given what you're talking about the courage, the way I would say it would be just that it should have courage trigger your pack abilities, because that way it's got an interesting push and pull between the courage and the pack, because obviously you want more troops with pack to leverage the ability more, but it's courage, so there's a limit to how many you can have before it'll actually even go off at all. That'd be my suggestion.
Yeah, I'm going to be presenting this guy's Space Wolf faction very soon. He also sent it to me, just like the Thousand Suns. And maybe it will make more sense when I do that, because I really haven't had the time to take a look at all of the stuff basically that is in there. So maybe it makes more sense into the faction itself. So
fair enough. If it's taken as a whole, it might make more sense. Yeah.
Oh, he also made a very cool cogitator that I'm gonna put in here, guys, and you can take a look. So he had, as he said, I had a lot of fun once again. So. He did the thing.
Fair enough. Points for effort, then.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, move on to the next one.
Sure, it's yours, I believe.
Yes, and I do believe this is supposed to be from Zermal. The big Defenders of Caliban fan. So let's first of all take a look at this. Yeah, we first should take a look at this choose card ability that he made. Penitence, Treachery, and Malversation. Penitence is that your warlord takes damage during the enemy turn. Treachery, one of your other friendly fallen is destroyed in combat during your turn. And Malversation, collect a mark of fallen from the board. Okay, wait a second. Now let's take a look at the card itself. It's fallen. Holy hell, this guy just made... There's so many new things. So 20 energy, 10. Nameless Legionary. Lower the cost of this card by 1 for each Defenders of Caliban Astartes you put in play. So it's like basically Luther's Reckoning. Darc Quest. Put in play 2 Renegade Knights and give them frontline and 3/3. So if he completes the Darc Quest, right? Oh, I get what it is. So you do a Darc Quest, and these 3 are the Darc Quests. So
yeah, it's an inversion of the standard Dark Angel mechanic.
Yeah, basically, so either your warlord has to take damage during the enemy turn. The thing is, I think it's a little too easy to complete it. But anyway, let's first take a look. So he also has 4 energy. Choose a Dark Angels. Is that 4 energy? Wait, let me actually read what he says in his thing.
They look like, I think that's the marks of the fallen that he's referred to previously.
One moment. Oh, he actually sent me a big text. Okay, I'm actually going to read this out, guys. So bear with me for a little bit, okay? All right, Lord, the Fallen is an unknown Astartes who makes appearance in the last battle against the Lion in Caliban. No one knows his name, except for the old Cypher and Luther himself, who trained him not in the martial skills, but also not only in the martial skills, but also in the order traditions. He participates in the Zaramud campaign, and he notices how the Lion humiliates Luther in front of Horus and other legionaries, and after that he joins the Lion in the next battles and disappears after the death of Horus. After all, the show itself shows himself behind the Lion's lines, and he betrays him. Well, so makes sense that he's the Fallen, right? So Curiosity. Lawyer Dark Angels also reference him with a Z, is all written and no one knows why. So there's some flavor. Dark Angels also think he's a warp entity, but in truth, it's just an Astartes. Okay, so new mechanic. The Fallen Marks. Marks of Fallen works like the Eldar Soulstones in Warforged. Shad. Warforged. Just with a little change. The enemy dead in the battle will drop Fallen Marks who can be obtained if you hit the mark with a Warlord. Oh, okay. All right, now it makes sense. So essentially, when you murder enemy units, they drop the mark. And if you have 4 marks, you can use an ability which you choose the Dark Angels as starters and put it in play. It becomes Fallen, can act again. Resolution, give marks of chaos to all your friendly troops. If you have completed at least 5 Dark quests this game, this troop gains worth. Jesus fucking Christ. I would say, this is what I'm going to say. Art is very cool. First of all, I like it. But Dark Angels in general look pretty cool. I like the potential in what he's doing. The inverted Dark Quest, the whole marks and stuff like that. Very, very cool. Very flavorful and interesting. But this card is overloaded. This is too much. This is too much. There's just too much that it does.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential for an expansion here. These are all very interesting mechanics. So, but I 100% agree with you. This is way too much text on one card, and also it's got the like swingy, 20 cost but reduce while in hand thing. I do love Dark Quest especially though. Why don't they already have that? They should totally have Dark Angels as quest but inverted. It makes perfect sense.
Also, I have to say that I gotta give the guy points for the hard work, because if you see all the icons and stuff are handmade, apparently.
Lots of customs there, yeah.
I think you should totally make a faction with this, and I'll present it on my channel if you ever decide to do that. If not a faction, just do a couple of units. It's very interesting. I think I'd love to see something like that.
Only slight quibble on the art is Malversation, but the other two are white and whitish silver. Also, Malversation, I had to Google that. That doesn't happen very often. That's a word I've never heard in my life, but it's great. Thanks for that.
It's a cool one.
Yeah,
for sure.
Corrupt behavior while in a position of trust, especially in public office. Perfect fit. Well done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, next one's yours, Shad. Congratulations, you're doing another Night Lord.
I don't even like them, fucking edge lords. All right, yeah. All right. 10 energy.
Who this is though. I don't remember whose card this is.
All right, 10 energy Night Lord, 11-10 Astartes, so big chunky boy. He's got Terror, fairly standard for Night Lords. Murder, deal 8 damage to the enemy warlord and gain stealth. Okay, so the fact that it can gain stealth and then do it again the next turn is theoretically quite toxic. We've seen a lot of those already in this, and it's almost never a good idea. But this guy costs 10 and doesn't have protection built in by default. So while it's very swingy and binary and it's an answer me now or die card, it isn't game over just by playing it. So fair enough. Still don't think I like it that much though, because it kind of encourages toxic gameplay. But it's not as bad as having flank or stealth by default.
Yeah, so I just found it. This is from Pezman 300. I think, it's not toxic. That's the good part. It can be toxic. It has potential to be toxic. Yeah, for example, Night Lords do have ways of making their troops flanky, which can also
and stealth,
and stealth. So it has potential to become very disgusting.
But at 10E, it's hard to trigger, isn't it?
Yeah, very hard. So I guess it's fine. Nothing too crazy.
Fair enough.
It's pretty fine. All right, let's move to the next one, and this is from Nope. And basically we have what? We have
Eileen. Come on, Eileen.
Yeah, Eileen Krast, Praetor of the 20th Inductee, 20th. I said 20th. Oh my god. 20th Inductee Company. 10 energy 6/6. Frontline. Rally, put in 5 inductee squad, spear tip, and backlash. Give a mark of chaos to your other troops. So basically, spear tip and backlash. Okay, so you first do rally, you summon these guys, and you also give them mark of chaos. And inductee squads are 2 energy 2/2/1s with drop pod. So basically, you play a 10 energy 6/6, and it also drops 5 of these guys and gives them mark of chaos. It's funny how inductee squad has exact same art as Legion Presage. It's like it's like literally the same. But as for the card itself, I mean, this is the least toxic, I guess, of the Desperate Defense kind of cards, but it can still be a little bit nutty, because you're always going to trigger Spear Tip, because if you're playing this card, it means you're playing it for 10 energy, so it means it's always triggering Spear Tip, right? I think the problem with this card is that I think it needs to get rid of Spear Tip, and it'll be all right. Because you drop the inductees, you have the frontline guy, so this guy takes the front of the attack. So when the enemy destroys it, then it gives Marks of Chaos to the other troops, right? Because being able to summon 5/2/1s and also give them Mark of Chaos might be a little too swingy. What do you think?
Oh, it's like Mustafa Lupakal never left. Brings a tear to my eye. No, it's yeah. I think you're spot on with the balance there. It's a bit strong as at the moment. Again, though, like I said, I wasn't joking entirely when I said Mustafa Lupakal. There's no reason this thing should have its own little token that you've made, like the Inductii squad. Just use Abacol, or if you want to stay with non-legacy cards, what is it? Ajax, the 2/2. I guess it'd be marginally stronger at that point. But wouldn't make much of a difference. Yeah, it's another one of those like answer me or die cards is the thing. But it's if you remove the spear tip, then it would be a bit less, swingy in that way. Yeah, it's fine. Just value.
All right, next one's yours from a legit sniper or Vindicare assassin.
Okay.
He's got Gendor. You got another light Night Lord. Okay, go on.
All right. Gendor Skryvok or Skryvok. I don't know how you pronounce that. 10 energy, 9/4. Wow, that's one hell of a stat imbalance. I do like cards like that in theory. Has survival 1, so you do need to hit him at least twice. And rally, gain a mutation. That's interesting. I wonder what the lore behind that is. I need to read about this guy. Murder. Heal the amount of attack of the enemy troop destroyed to all friendly units. Okay, so that can be worded better, but yeah. When this troop triggers Survivor, it becomes a Demon Prince. See, okay, so if that's the case, you don't need the Survivor. You can just use Backlash. Yeah, the Demon Prince is a 6 energy 6/6 called Gendor Ascended, maintenance 3, has Ward, Unstoppable, and Relentless. Give +1/0 and Demon Host to all friendly troops. So I don't know the lore behind this. Does Gendor Skryvok ever ascend then? I didn't know that. I assume that happened a long time after the Heresy.
Gendor Skryvok has a Demon Blade, as you know, so most probably one of the things behind it is that he actually texted me the whole flavor with the explanations that he has. So let's read it real quick. So this is what he has. Survivor 1 represents Gendor managing to survive the fall. This works as an activation for a Demon Prince transformation, as this fall was what led to him merging with the demon in his sword and becoming one. So mutation represents the demonic sword that Gendor wields. I was going to do Demon Host, but there are more choices with mutation. Gendor doesn't have flank or terror normally, but it's possible to get it through mutation. Murder represents his arrogance and ego. He kills an opponent, and depending on how good they were, their attack, the parentheses, it heals as it's giving him ego boost and raising morale of his allies. It also represents Demon siphoning the life force from its kills. The Demon Prince transformation is self-explanatory. As a Demon Prince, he has 6 attacks, he has 6 energy. Cost doesn't matter as it can be put into play regularly. He represents the 666 so 666 years he was tortured to become one. He gives Demon Host to his allies as his warband is pretty chaosy. Okay. Not 666, sorry, it's 66, I believe. No. Actually, wait. 666. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, okay. So I take back the thing I said about Survivor and Backlash, by the way, because obviously, if you hit destroy effect, then his wording will not give you the Demon Prince, which is a bit more balanced. It just feels like a lot of random stuff. I mean, I get the flavor in some cases, but and again, 666 years. That's well after the Heresy by that point. It's kind of like not the best flavor. It's an interesting card though. The fact that it has the murder but it doesn't have terror, that's a nice choice for Night Lords, because terror is a very swingy mechanic, but murder is actually quite fair. So yeah, it's fine. I don't see why you'd use a Demon Prince either though. You could just use a Greater Demon for much the same effect without having to make a token. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean the flavor is pretty good for sure. I think the whole I think it makes a lot of sense in general. The card itself is alright. I like the stat imbalance, as you said. It's not too strong, it's not too weak. I guess it's a pretty alright card with the Nice balance. I like the Demon Prince art though. A bit of an overused art. Everybody uses that, but pretty
Yeah,
cool. But pretty cool nevertheless.
yeah, it's fine. You know. I think there's one more
Yeah,
at
this
the
is from
bottom.
Ozzy. Transforming Foes. 15 energy ward card with 920. Reduce the cost of this card by 1 to a minimum of 10 when a troop generates 2 or more psychic energy. So essentially, this is a 10 at the best. This is a 10 energy 920, right? I mean,
Mm.
uh, I think there's like just way more potential that this thing could have. Honestly speaking,
Well,
like
that too, but also like that's just one hell of a big body, and it's not especially hard to really get. But the problem, well, I mean, it kind of is. It's clunky, but it's just so overstated, and with the ward, yeah, no, I'm not a fan.
I think it would be pretty interesting if transforming Host's car, like it could be something that gets cheaper, but maybe doesn't have like insane stats, but it can get lower than 10, and instead of having ward or something, it could just be a powerful chaos spawn with some rally effect, for example.
Well, yeah, I mean the what is it? The Altered Brethren card from earlier. I don't remember who made it, but like that's like that kind of trying to represent the same thing, and I think does it more. I don't know, in a more interesting, like interactive way. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so. I guess so. I guess that is the point. Once again, there's a potential there, but it needs work.
Yeah. Also, it's a very like the arbitrary cost reduction limit. I mean, I get why it's there as well, but those never good. All right. Anyway, so I think that's all of them. The last of them. Any I missed?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
Okay,
Wow.
so
So a lot of good entries this time.
absolutely, absolutely. So, how do we do this? Do we start
Oof.
from number 1, number 3, number 2, number 1, I guess, right?
Well, that typically seems to be the way. The problem is I think there's genuinely too many entries. I'm gonna have to. I'm narrowing things down as we speak. What are you doing? Just looking through and trying to find what you like.
I mean, one of the things that I really do like, no, there's too many that I really like.
There are loads of good ones this time, aren't there? Yeah.
I like Raziel's card. I like the Wolfen. I like Legion. I do like Scrivook as well. It's just that not for the first place for sure. Because it's a little bit clunky, but there's so many good things actually. I like the other Death Shroud as well. It's also pretty cool.
Yeah, both the Death Shrouds were good. I think first pick I'm gonna have to go with Legion Presage for me personally. I mean, do you have any? What do you think? You liked it, but did you like it first place?
I like it, but I'm not sure if I like it first placey style.
All right. Well, let's keep on debating. What else?
Yeah.
Any others that spring to mind?
Hmm. Okay, let me see which ones I like for first place.
What else is on the short list?
Yeah, this is a hard one. This is the hardest one so far.
Yeah. I also really like Legion. And
Yeah.
Thargus Daravek also strong.
Daravek is really cool.
Yeah. What else? There was another one. Oh well, yeah. The second Death Shroud also the second Death Shroud.
Death Shrouds are both really cool.
The first one's fine, but again, like the fact that it's so dramatic in cost reduction makes me
First,
wonder sometimes.
I would say like first one is more flavorful, while the second
Oh
one is
yeah,
more
absolutely.
balanced.
Yeah, the flavor is good, but I personally game mechanics take precedence over flavor in my.
I guess for number 1, there's like a lot of balancing issues in these submissions, man. This time we have a ton of balancing issues.
No, there's some really good ones as well. Like good, but it's just the balance. To be fair, at 10 energy, it gets harder to balance the higher energy.
Yeah.
Because the differentials between each cost get bigger and bigger.
Okay, for number 1, I would either have to go for Legion, Daravek, or you got the Legion Presage, right?
Yeah, that's one I would have put in there as well. Ooh. I think my top 3. Oh man, because I've got top 4, and you've already said 3 of them. The other one that's in the list is the second Death Shroud. I also really like that design.
This has to be the hardest one yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. I also quite like Altered Brethren, but I don't think it's top 3.
Yeah,
And
the Ultra
Wolfen.
Brethren
I
is
like
also pretty
Wolfen
cool.
a lot. I like Wolfen a lot as well, but I don't think it's top 3 quite. It's there's a lot of competition. They're all very close this time. It's not like last times we'd be like boom, 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 3 cards, 3 choices. I would also put Lord of Profligacy on there if it was like less narrow. Like the balance is it's just so it's very much what they call a silver bullet card in MTG, right? If it was a bit more an application, it would be eligible, I would say. Yeah, I think I would say Legion Presage is still top 1 for me, and then I think I'd go with the second Death Shroud for second spot, and third is either Thargus or Legion.
Oh boy, this is hard.
Yeah, I have to debate now. So, what was your top 1 spot? And we'll debate them because you had Legion third, didn't you?
Yeah, it's either Legion or Taravek.
Okay. And I had them in joint third. So,
I mean, the thing is with the Legion Presage, and both the Legion, they're both very flavorful. They both make sense lore wise, and both are pretty good, and both play really well into some places. Daravek, I guess, is also pretty good. The thing with Daravek,
he's not technically part of the Horus Heresy, is he? He's sort of Scouring era.
yeah,
kind of
he's
slight flavor issue there.
Yeah, same with Skyvok, right?
You know what? Okay, I think I can resolve. It's a top 1 design, but I did point out previously the issue. It's not a legendary card. It shouldn't be legendary. So maybe that knocks it down to second place. We can split the difference on that.
Yeah, we could.
Okay, so what goes in first?
Legion
Your
or
choice is between
Daravek?
Legion and Thargus. So I again for flavor issues, I think Daravek's not top 1. Are we putting Legion there? I don't know if Legion's a good enough design for top 1 though. I like it, but it's kind of
that's
meany.
still like it is. So I don't know.
Am I gonna? I'm gonna shill hard for my Death then, because I really like Death Shroud, the second iteration, so the second version.
Yeah, the Shroud's
I don't know who made it. Like it does so much mechanically well. I can see it in the game already.
Yeah, the Shroud is actually pretty good.
Oh
my god. It's from, let me quickly check who's that from, by the way. That's Shroud. Let's check the mail. Oh yeah, this was from Cabal.
Yeah. Only problem I see is that it would just make Mortarion even stronger, so it might have some balance issues. But then, is it any better or worse than Mortem Lamentia? I don't know.
Oh my god, Mortem Lamentia is disgusting.
Yeah.
Altered Brethren is also fine.
I do like Altered Brethren, but it's got a few issues wording wise.
Jesus Christ, what the hell, man? This is difficult.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I'll go with Legion Presage for number 1 still.
You reckon? Oh, Legion Presage. You want to put Presage in number 1?
Yeah, because the problem that we... Oh, actually, can I put another guy over there?
Oh, yeah, of course.
How about, like, Herrick Ironhelm in top 3?
A
little too...
It's just a burn piece, like, it's a relatively balanced one, but that's all it does. It's a burn piece, and it's got the issue of like shooting its friends and the art and all that. It's not bad. It's a perfectly balanced card. It would be fine, but
Most of the Night Lord cards are just stupidly overpowered.
It's the problem is their mechanics are inherently very like swingy, so they're very hard to make for.
If I were
so,
to say
yeah.
which is the best of the Night Lord cards, I would go for Scrivehawk. In terms of between the Night Lord cards.
Yeah, out of all the Night Lords. Yeah, I guess. No, I would say no, I'd say the first claw is the most balanced one.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that could also be balanced. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I don't think any of the Night Lords. They all have too many issues. There's some cool ideas on all of them, but like
I think the main problem that we have is everything is overpowered.
No. Most of the ones we've got selected aren't overpowered. It's the only overpowered one potentially is the new Death Shrouds. They might be a bit too strong. The other three are fine.
I think Presage edges everything in one sense. Yeah, it's a problem, but it's a legend. It should not be a legendary for sure.
That's like the only problem with it. Otherwise, I just love the design. Yeah,
you just play a card and it fills your hand with other stuff. You played with Thousand Suns. You can also use Psyker if you play with Sisters. Yeah. With Kroll, you can refill your hand.
It just does so much. Yeah, exactly. It's a neutral Astartes done right. I do.
I think we'll go with Presage for number 1.
All right. Oh, I'm fine with that. That was my first place pick.
Yeah, there's a lot of cards here that I love. I love Meduson, for example. I love like the Cabal, Kenai Cabal as well, but there's some serious balancing issues here, man.
It's hard to balance at this tier. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, 10 energy cards is very difficult, but either it's unusable or it's super strong, right?
Yeah.
All right, what about number 2? So number 2, I reckon we can have one of the Death Shrouds, maybe Daravec as well.
Death Shroud, yeah. I'm going to push for Death Shroud in 2. I like Death Shroud, the second one.
What else?
Is cool flavor. Like? Yeah. The only other one that I think's top 3 worthy potentially is maybe Altered Brethren, maybe Sultan Volbron, but
no, well,
I don't know. He's got a lot of issues with wording. Yeah. Sorry, there's some others.
What about Daravec?
Yeah, I like Daravec too. It's just he could be top. Oh, he was already in my list. Yeah. Do you reckon Daravec takes? Where does Daravec place? There's a slight flavor thing because again, he's not technically in the Horus Heresy, but it's not.
Yeah, I think that actually turns it into a bit of a problem.
You reckon? I mean, the guy presumably still existed during the Horus Heresy. The problem is all of those feats that made the flavor for this card didn't exist yet. So yeah, it's not quite. Yeah.
So maybe between Legion and the Shroud, and maybe Brethren as well. But I think Brethren is more of a
top 2, right?
Yeah, I think Brethren is right. Yeah, I would say Brethren is more of a 3 spot. So let's for top 2 maybe decide between Legion and Shrouds.
Yeah, I'd say Death Shroud design there then because Legion's stealing a bit. Well, no, I like Legion so much though. Oh,
I mean, both are honestly really good.
Yeah, I guess Legion loses some points because it's not original fully because it's like riffing on Defense Force, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. No, you know what? I like Legion. Because the whole idea of like infinite Astartes, it's perfect flavor for the Alpha Legion of all things. They were one of the biggest legions. They were faceless hordes. They were all the same person. It draws cards in for both sides. Yeah, I'm happy giving it to Legion for second spot.
Yeah, I think maybe Legion in terms of. But the Shroud is also really good.
Well, maybe that's third then, because I much as I do like Thargus Daravec, we have pointed out the flavor issues as well.
I also like Altered Brethren, but I still think that Death Shroud is a little bit better. True Alarius is also fun, but it's
fun, but it's clunky.
I think I would go with Legion Presage for number 1, Legion for number 2, and Shroud for number 3.
Yeah, that seems fair to me. Okay. You sure you're locked in for all those? You're good with those?
I think so, because in general we have some serious balancing issues with everything else. So I think I think this is how we go.
All right. Yeah, I'm down with that then. All right.
Very cool submissions though, man. Like, I really love all of these
Yes.
cards, but I totally get that for 10 energy, it's so hard to balance things. Like,
Well, this was the hardest one for us to decide yet, I think, wasn't it? I mean, the ship one last 2 weeks was difficult too, but there were still only 3 contenders really. This one we had like 5 or 6 that we were really debating between.
now,
And again, yeah, lots of cool designs. 10 energy gives people a lot of space to work with.
I
Let's
have
do a 1 energy one next. Well, it's not next, but it's
or
point.
0 energy or something.
Oh, 0 energy. That'd be tricky. Yeah.
I have to say though, flavor wise, like if we talk like pure flavor, some of my favorites were the Raziel Death Shroud, Sultan Vulbron, Gendor Skor as well, Aura Magma. Like in terms of flavor, these cards are amazing. Solomon Khan,
Oh, yeah.
Solomon Khan, like there's like so many that are like exactly what they're supposed to be. But at the same, even Meduson. But at the same time, and Sharokin as well. Sharokin's flavor is just nuts. But
yeah, I like the Desorian. That was great.
but some of these things are just way too strong, man. Just way too strong.
Yeah, ultimately balanced. It was quite a deciding factor in some cases, wasn't it? I suppose.
Yeah, I
all
guess
of the
so.
ones. Yeah, arguably maybe Death Shroud is like a little too strong, but then that is why it's in 3rd place. Yeah, and it is still good. It's still a great card. Yeah. Just loads of great cards. Honestly, I'd like to see a lot of these added, obviously with a few balance tweaks. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Who knows? Maybe EG will do like a best of expansion one day. That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
That would be
take all the winners.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, well then I guess we made a decision. So
yeah, who won? Who won? Who were the names of the creators?
Okay, let's take a look. So number 1 place goes to the Legion Presage, and I'm going to check like who this is. This is from wait a minute, nope. Let me just oh my god, there's so yeah, I found it. So this is from Callum McKee, who is Caliger 190 in the game. So congratulations, first of all. That's number 1.
Name doesn't seem familiar, so congrats on first entry, I think.
I don't think it's first entry, but first.
Oh, it's not?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, first
okay,
win, yeah.
The second one is from a Hydraconian, second one, who is the Megistus Among guy, as I like to call him. So,
oh yeah, the meme lord. He actually won something. Well done, mate.
Yeah, he actually won it. That's the cool one. So he memed, and then he won. So absolutely cool. And with Death Shroud, I believe it was Cabal. Yes, Cabal. So congratulations, Cabal.
Yeah. Has he entered before?
I
don't think so.
Let me double check that. Let me double check that.
Well, sorry, I'm ruining your exit. You're out.
No, he hasn't submitted yet. Anything other than that.
Okay. Sorry, I keep on ruining the outro. Let's well done, you guys, and well done everyone else. There were lots of other good entries.
Absolutely, this was really, really good. So, want to say thanks to all of you guys. We're gonna send out the new rules a few hours after this video, I guess, and hope to see more of you guys participating because these is some amazing stuff. So, thank you very much.
So much fun.
All right, guys. See ya. And Ecclesiarch and shout out.